Coverage on TBS is brought to you in HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Big crowd once again at the big ballpark in the Bronx. Let's give you the starting lineup for Jim Leyland's Detroit Tigers. Austin Jackson will lead off, the former Yankee farmhand, and Tigers need much more from him in this series. Magglio Ordonez in the two-hole. Delman Young bats third for the Tigers. He's had a good series so far in game one. Miguel Cabrera, the cleanup hitter, the league's leading hitter. Victor Martinez is the designated hitter, the switch hitter. Alex Avila, the Tigers catcher. Johnny Peralta at shortstop. The bottom of the order changes a bit for Leyland, with Peralta batting seventh. Wilson Betemit, the switch hitter, batting eighth, his first start in game two. And Ramon Santiago, another switch hitter, making his first postseason start for the Tigers this season. And the lineups brought to you by Autotrader.com. And on the mound for the New York Yankees, a one-time Tiger, albeit briefly, Freddie Garcia. And John, he goes from a non-roster invitee in spring training to a postseason starter for Joe Girardi.
Yeah, this staff is filled with really some surprises, and for the Tigers lineup, don't go to sleep at the plate, because that's what Freddie Garcia is going to try to make you do, go to sleep. He wants to throw just enough fastballs that look close enough and then really get you with off speed and more off speed. 6-2 in the postseason, 10th career postseason start.
And defensively behind Freddie Garcia in this ball game today. See in the outfield, playing Gold Glove outfield this year in left field has been Brett Gardner, Granderson in center, and Swisher in right. See lack of errors in the postseason games for the Yankees. In the infield, of course, lots of gold. Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, Robinson Cano with that big hit last night, and Teixeira at first base. Russell Martin doing the catching. No errors in his last 20 postseason games for Robinson Cano, and made an outstanding play in last night's game, a 4-4-3 double play. Austin Jackson running, Ordonez with the ground ball.
The six-man umpiring crew. It is Eric Cooper behind the plate. He's working his sixth division series, has also worked a league championship series. Jerry Davis is the crew chief at first base. Dan Isonia, Ted Barrett, and the outfield umpires Bill Welke and Tony Randazzo. Randazzo was behind the plate last night, got an x-ray last night after he was hit in the jaw on a wild pitch. X-rays came up clean, and Randazzo is back out there. Did a terrific job last night.
Well, Freddie Garcia is already frustrated because Detroit made him take off that little armband on his left arm, and he pointed over to the dugout. See if that gets under his skin enough to have an effect, but he was not happy that he had to take it off.
Don't be surprised if you see Austin Jackson, the young, swift center fielder, lay down a bunt on the 35-year-old pitcher.
Austin Jackson ready to lead off, and this big crowd revved up for game two as Garcia delivers. And we are underway here at Yankee Stadium. The shadows, as the sun is in and out behind the clouds, the shadows could become a factor here shortly. And when the sun is shining brightly, they will creep out over home plate. And right now they're at about the edge of the first baseline. Now, this was supposed to be the game three starting pitching matchup with Max Scherzer and Freddie Garcia, and we heard Tom Verducci report during our pregame show that the Tigers would much prefer to have Scherzer at home at Comerica. And Joe Girardi feeling that Freddie Garcia was a pretty good matchup with the Tigers at Comerica as well. And yet they start here at Yankee Stadium as Jackson, right on cue, tries to bunt for a hit. And it's a ball and two strikes on the Tiger leadoff hitter. Originally a day off between games 2 and 3, but because of the suspended game on Friday night, a game that was resumed in the bottom of the second last night, and it ended up as a Yankee win, you lose the off day, and that's why we're still here in New York for game 2. As Jackson swings and misses, down he goes on strikes, and that's how Freddie Garcia's day begins.
Well, this is the formula that you're going to see a lot. If he can get ahead, there's going to be split fingers, curveballs, sliders, and right here you see him just get that ball down out of the zone. A lot of strikeouts out of the leadoff hitter for Jackson, and it starts out with one again.
And now Garcia to face his countryman Magglio Ordonez, not only from Venezuela together, but also from the same town in Caracas, and they know each other well. Had plenty of confrontations in the past.
Ordonez has got the better of it, though. 320 average lifetime against his countrymate.
See the numbers on Ordonez. 0 for 4 in game 1, and he rips one to left, and that success continues against Freddie Garcia as Maglio Ordonez delivers a 1-out single. Now, Ron, there is no doubt, and you talked about the middle of this Tigers batting order. They can bash with the best of them. They were the 3rd best hitting team in all of the American League this season. The Yankees were 5th in overall team batting average during the regular year, and Jim Leland is counting on that offense here today.
Well, it's interesting that he's inserted Delman Young, who came over in the trade from Minnesota, into that 3rd slot right away. Most of the time you see the best hitter for the team hitting 3rd. Young, a free swinger, jumps on the first pitch, and the sun is out now, and Gardner, fighting with that sun, will make the catch. Well, I guess when you're a captain and you're headed to the Hall of Fame like Derek Jeter, you tell people who's supposed to take what, and Gardner had to go a long way for that baseball. And that's a pretty good look at what he was staring into.
The interesting thing about this lineup is it can be pitchable because they swing at so many first pitches and they don't steal bases, Ron, and they're aggressive, but it can look ugly if you're not getting your pitches over. And I think for any traffic on the bases for these next 3 hitters, that's Detroit's success.
And then you see those shadows starting to creep out. Miguel Cabrera, 0 for 3, a walk and a run scored in game 1. Ron mentioned the success of Maglio Ordonez against Freddie Garcia. Cabrera has always hit Garcia well. A .391 career hitter against Freddie Garcia, has 9 hits, and 3 of those 9 hits are home runs lifetime against Garcia. Ordonez not a threat to run at first. The Tigers don't run much. They play for the big power game, the home run ball, the 2- and 3-run homers under Jim Leland.
Garcia, what he will do, John, and you know this as well as I, he will still pitch around the strike zone. 2-0 counts don't mean anything to him. He tries to use the aggressiveness of Cabrera against him.
And a drive down the right field line. Cabrera giving it a look, and that is slicing, and that is out of here. Just inside the foul pole. Miguel Cabrera with a 2-run 1st-inning homer. And the Tigers are on the board.
You know what makes him so tough as a hitter, Ron, is he waits so long and he can go every part of the ballpark. He's not in a hurry as a hitter. He's not trying to get the barrel out. He's not aggressive. He's patient. He waits back on this breaking ball, and no big deal.
Just flips it over that right field wall. A lot of hitters there would look into pull mode, but Cabrera saw that Garcia threw the first 2 pitches outside, looked to go that way, and has enough pop to hit it out the ballpark.
Now their manager was calling on his offense today, and they have responded quickly. Ordonez with a single, Cabrera with a 2-run homer on a line drive bullet just inside the foul pole in right field. Cabrera now 4 career home runs against Freddie Garcia in his 10 career hits. Victor Martinez takes a strike from Garcia.
Can't tell you how big that is for your pitcher, too. Not a lot of experience. Get the crowd down as much as possible. This is an unbelievable home field advantage crowd, and when they're going at their best, it's awfully tough to pitch in this ballpark.
Well, it can be a relentless lineup for the Tigers when you go Ordonez, Young, Cabrera to Martinez. Alex Avila's had a great year offensively. He hits after Martinez as Garcia misses low. 2-2 on Victor Martinez.
And you know, Jim Leland won't admit it, but he had his left-handed hitting lineup, these right-handed hitters against Nova yesterday. Might have cost him some at bats during that ball game. He's got the strength of his lineup now against the right-handed Garcia.
2-2 pitch. Martinez a swing and a miss. Took a little off. But the Tigers strike first. A 2-run home run. Miguel Cabrera. Detroit 2-zip. Yankees coming up against Max Scherzer.
MLB postseason.
The opposite field power of Miguel Cabrera, nothing new. In fact, go back to the time when he was just 7 years old, and he had an uncle who was a minor league player who threw batting practice to him, and he told him if he pulled the ball, he would have to run a lap for every ball that he hit to left field. Well, he started grooving that right field stroke from the time he was 7 and is now one of the most dangerous opposite field hitters in all of baseball.
Has a swing and a power stroke tailor-made for Yankee Stadium, as Miguel Cabrera goes deep to give the Tigers the early lead. And now Max Scherzer will pitch with the lead as he faces the Yankees. First postseason pitch on the way from the power-armed right-hander Max Scherzer. Derek Jeter leads off. See the numbers on Max Scherzer during the regular year. A 15-game winner, John.
Yeah, for Max, he's sometimes feast or famine when it comes to the long ball. He's got a good fastball, good changeup, slider. He's got to get his arm in a better position to throw that slider so it's not flat. He's 3-0 against the Yankees in his first 3 career starts, which many people haven't done that. But he's going to be thankful for that 2-run lead to settle his nerves.
Had a couple of wins this year, but the Yankees have not seen him since May. Scherzer pitched here at Yankee Stadium in the first series of the season back in early April on the 3rd as he hits the corner for a strike on Derek Jeter. That could be a big pitch for both pitchers. And Jeter's shaking his head a little bit. One and 2 on Jeter. And did he go? They will ask. And the crew chief Jerry Davis says he checked his swing. 2-2. Max Scherzer will turn 27. He was a big part of that trade, that 3-team, 7-player trade that Curtis Granderson was involved in. That was the major piece. Scherzer ended up going from Arizona to the Detroit Tigers in that 3-team deal.
Jeter so far looks like he's having a hard time picking up that fastball out of the hand of Scherzer. Has the deal, I think, with these real bad shadows so far. More pronounced now with the Yankees up.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Jeter. He was a big part of the offense last night for the Yankees. Jeter scored 3 of the 9 runs the Yankees scored in Game 1. And he kept the 2-out rally alive in the 6th inning that set up the dramatic Cano grand slam with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Jeter with 2 hits, on base 3 times in Game 1. He was 2 for 5 at the plate. Also had a stolen base. Interesting that 12 of the 14 runs in the series have been scored with 2 outs. Yankees have 8. Now the Tigers with 4 as Jeter rips one center field way back. Jackson looking up. Well, what a play. Austin Jackson brings it down. Great speed from the center fielder. Let's check the starting lineups brought to you by Autotrader.com. It's Jeter, then Granderson. The top 2 spots, Robinson, Cano at second base, batting 3rd. Alex Rodriguez, the cleanup hitter. Mark Teixeira batting 5th now for Girardi's Yankees, and then it's Swisher, the right fielder, Jorge Posada, the designated hitter. Russell Martin will do the catching, and Brett Gardner in left. Same 9 for Girardi as we saw in Game 1. A terrific play by Austin Jackson for the first out as Scherzer gets ahead of Granderson.
That last slider was what we call a cement mixer, Ron. It was spinning the wrong way, and the angle that he gets on his fastball is kind of a low 3/4. But for that slider, he's going to have to get his hands on top of the ball to create break. Any more of those pitches right there in the middle of the plate is going to be damage.
Curtis Granderson, very comfortable in that 2 spot. Most of the year hitting in front of Teixeira. Lately, as of the final few games of the regular season, hitting in front of Cano, and it proved itself yesterday. Cano looming large in that on-deck circle. The Tigers going right after Curtis Granderson. Had a hit in the 5th inning. Had 2 walks in Game 1. He scored twice.
John, the shadows are going back and forth, in and out. Late in the year, postseason, facing these shadows that are in your favor, do you alter your way of pitching?
Absolutely. I'm asking the catcher after each inning. I'm going, all right, what do you see, what don't you see? And if you can't see something, I'm throwing it because I don't want the hitter to hit it. So you rely heavily on your catcher, and sometimes the best pitch is a breaking ball, because anything you see about 3 feet, those hitters don't see much at past 3 feet to the plate. They're reacting to where the ball is. If it's moving and it's tough to see, that's what I'm going to go to.
And if you're at the plate and you get a cloud, you get the sun behind the cloud, it's a break. There's a called strike on the inside corner. Took something off, and he found the inside corner for his first strikeout, Max Scherzer. 2 gone in the first inning.
Right here is the changeup. He gets away with it because he fools him. You see how that pitch is over the middle of the plate. It's not where it was intended to be. It's kind of a crossfire changeup. Catches the inner part of the plate, comes back, freezes him up. I promise you, he wants swings and misses on the outside part of the plate.
A big ovation for Robinson Cano as he is announced after his big night last night. See the numbers during the regular year: 28 home runs, 118 driven in, all from a second baseman. And Cano, the second player in postseason history with 6 2-out RBIs in a game. The other is Omar Vizquel of the Indians, who did it back in '01 for the Seattle Mariners. He set a franchise record, a Yankees record for postseason RBIs. He tied it with 6 RBIs last night. And John, you pointed it out in our open. Not only did he drive in 6, but he drove in 6 all with 2 outs in innings. Just when it looked like the Tigers were going to be able to get through those innings.
Yeah, only the second player in postseason history to do that. 6 2-out RBIs. Now for Matt, you can hear this statistic a lot for pitchers. Shutdown innings, he's had a 4.50 ERA when his team has scored. He's 1 out away from putting up a 0, much needed 0.
Yeah, it looks like he's working around Cano, and you can't blame him. On 4 pitches, Cano draws the walk. There are a lot of questions about Alex Rodriguez, where his bat is currently, and I think the Tigers are going to want to find out exactly where A-Rod's bat is at this point, other than going after Cano regularly.
Well, 0 for 5 last night. Hasn't played a lot in the month of September because of various injuries, the knee, the thumb. So yes, you want to go after A-Rod, but it's always funny. Whenever a guy's had a big night, walks on 4 pitches, his next game in the first at bat, you always know that Max was watching the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, Rodriguez is hitless in his career against Scherzer, 0 for 8, and he starts him with a hook for a strike. Rodriguez had knee surgery in mid-July. His lateral movement is a big question mark defensively, although he made a nice play in Game 1. The first part of Game 1 on Friday night.
You can see he's got a little bit of an exaggerated follow through, and what it does is sometimes when your head ducks, your arm ducks, and the ball gets underneath. Now he's got great velocity on his fastball, but that slider, I think Mr. Jones is going to remind him when he gets in the dugout, you got to get on top of it. Make that pitch break 45-degree angle across the plate.
2 balls and a strike. And a 2-out walk to Cano on 4 straight. There's Jim Leland and Gene Lamont. Scherzer, a fly ball pitcher, and you can understand why the Tigers preferred to have him pitch at Comerica in Detroit, a pitcher-friendly ballpark, especially this time of year. And it goes to 3-1 on Rodriguez.
Well, on the road, to your point, Brian, 18 home runs, 86 innings pitched, higher ERA. He definitely likes pitching at home in that big park.
Gave up 29 home runs for the year. Teixeira looming large on deck. 3 balls and a strike on Rodriguez, and that one is away. Scherzer back-to-back walks. Check the defense for the Detroit Tigers, Ron.
Well, maybe you'll be able to use the defense after those couple of walks there. Look in the outfield, Delman Young, Austin Jackson, Maglio Ordonez in right field. See those outfield assists. Delman, better meet at third base, replacing Inge, Peralta, Santiago, Cabrera, and Avila behind the plate.
Now Scherzer in some early trouble with 2 away. 8 of the 9 runs for the Yankees yesterday came with 2 outs, and now Teixeira bats with 2 on and 2 out.
I'm not a big fan of the visit by the pitching coach in the first inning, but this would be a nice time for the pitching coach to go out there and just settle a kid down, say, hey, listen, you've got the stuff, relax, execute your pitches.
There's Jeff Jones, Tigers pitching coach, took over for Rick Knapp in July. At Cano at second, Rodriguez at first. And Teixeira lays off. Well, let's take you back, a flashback from Scherzer's first start of the year against the Yankees. It was his first start of the season. Gave up 4 home runs in the game. One of them was to Mark Teixeira. Sounded like it was off the end of the bat, but enough to carry out. And Teixeira with a home run. Interesting that Scherzer gave up 6 runs and 4 home runs, but he got the win in that game. He came back at Tiger Stadium on the 4th of May and went 8 shutout against the Yankees. Just 4 hits in 8 shutout innings against New York in his home ballpark.
Well, he's had 3 different release points and 3 different pitches, and I think the one thing that they say, if he struggles at all, it's going to be with his mechanics. A little bit unorthodox, and you can see where his hand doesn't catch up with his body sometimes, and that's going to cause a manipulation at the end. He's got to get back to right here. You just need a hitter to just miss this pitch, pop it up, and get out of the inning.
2-0 to count, and Teixeira lays off 3-0. Two quick outs. It was a terrific catch by Austin Jackson to start it against Jeter. A strikeout on Granderson, then back-to-back walks. Teixeira will swing 3-0. He has the green light always. And he takes one on the outside corner for a strike.
Early on, I don't know if he's got the guts to throw a 3-1 changeup right here, but that would be the pitch for an aggressive hitter trying to drive the ball.
Hitters count for Teixeira with 2 on. And he lifts one high in the air. Over is Santiago. And Scherzer gets out of it. The Yankees strand a pair. 2-0 Tigers. We head to the second from Yankee Stadium. Tigers Yankees. We head to the second inning. Alex Avila will lead off. And a big curveball from Freddie Garcia to start him. Avila, terrific young catcher for the Tigers. See his regular season. Major contributor offensively at 19 home runs this year, 82 driven in. Was 0 for 3 in game 1. Although he did drive in a run in the 9th inning yesterday. And an RBI on a fielder's choice. It was a 9th inning where the Yankees had a 9-1 lead. The Tigers scored 2 runs, and Joe Girardi brought in Mariano Rivera to finish it out as Avila strikes out. And Martin takes care of him at first. 3rd strikeout for Freddie Garcia.
Well, earlier in the first inning, a little bit of gamesmanship. I'm sure the other side wanted to take off that bracelet. The umpire's letting him know. He's not really happy about it, asking why. And gives him a little wave that he's talking to himself.
Poor K.
It's a good thing he turned his face away from the camera.
Yeah,
there.
he gives him a little whatever. Points over to the Detroit dugout, but
yeah, what was interesting about it is Garcia has this routine after his last warm-up pitch, as most pitchers do. He went behind the mound, and it was disrupted a little bit. And the Tigers searching for any advantage possible as they make him remove the bracelet. It's not like he was wearing a shiny Rolex, but it's enough to be a distraction, perhaps. Johnny Peralta works ahead in the count, 2-1. Another banger in this Tigers batting order. Peralta, the Tigers shortstop, had a 21 home run season during the regular season. Hit 299 this year. Alex Rodriguez still has a great arm, and he makes an easy play on Peralta for out number 2. Well, the range on the left side of the Yankees infield in question with Jeter and Alex Rodriguez, but they'll certainly make everything they can get to. See if the Tigers will exploit the left side of the Yankees infield. Now the right side for the Yankees about as good as it gets with Teixeira and Cano.
They rely on that veteran global positioning system that helps them over there.
They cut it a miss from the switch hitter Betemit. So this is the lineup, and we talked about it yesterday to start our broadcast, the fact that it was a suspended game, and the Yankees go from the left-handed starter in CC Sabathia to the right-hander in Ivan Nova. Now if it rains in the bottom of a second inning of the regular season, the game's postponed and restarted, so you can reset your lineup. But this gives you a sense of what Jim Leyland probably would have had in his batting order against Freddie Garcia today with Ivan Nova yesterday. So even though Leyland doesn't admit it, won't talk about it, doesn't use it as an excuse, there was a strategic imbalance because of that suspended game for the Tigers.
Well, Leyland said if he gets excited about it, my team gets anxious about it.
Bouncer, and Teixeira lets it go by to Cano. Garcia is there for him. A 4-1 put out and a 3-up, 3-down inning for Freddie Garcia.
Introducing the
Max Scherzer. Scherzer pitching out of a bit of a mess in the first inning. His pitch count got a little high in that first inning, but you could understand making his postseason debut here today. Worked around a couple of walks, retired Teixeira with 2 on. Swisher into right center. Jackson makes the catch, had to reroute to make that play. And 1 gone here in the second inning.
Getting the leadoff hitter for Scherzer is really important, not only in a postseason game, but all year. They were hitting over 300 against them, and that certainly sets the stage for some rallies. And you want to keep your home runs, your runs to 1 run an inning, and getting that leadoff guy sure sets your nerves down a little bit.
1 gone. It's going to be Jorge Posada back in the starting lineup for game 2. The Yankees have Jesus Montero, one of their great young prospects, on this postseason roster, and he would be the designated hitter against left-handed starters. The Tigers don't have a left-handed starter, so it looks like it's going to be Posada. Yankees fans aren't thinking this way, but just based on past history, you go back to 06. Remember, the Tigers won game 2 here at Yankee Stadium, not this Yankee Stadium, but the other one, and they never made it back to New York. So you have to wonder, are Jorge Posada's days in pinstripes coming to an end? You don't know how this series will play out. The Yankees have expectations to have plenty more games this season, but Posada, they've been talking about an exit strategy for him, but he had a late surge to earn his way into the starting lineup. Down 0-2, and a swing and a miss. Big fastball from Scherzer right by Posada for out number 2. Well, Tiger fans are hanging their hat on 2006. That was a World Series team for the Detroit Tigers. They lost the first game to the Yankees. Yankees on a Jason Giambi and Derek Jeter home run games. The Tigers fought back in game 2 behind Justin Verlander. They got a no decision, but they evened the series. And then it was Kenny Rogers through the masterful game 3. Magglio Ordonez with a big home run. And they would not return to New York. Tigers would go to the World Series that year. Jim Leyland's first year in Detroit. He was the manager of the year in the American League that season. As Martin pulls 1 to third, Betemit makes a play for out number 2. Check it out, number 3. 3 up and 3 down. So a good start for Scherzer. We head to the third inning. Santiago to lead off. Have the early lead in game 2. As we go to the Tiger half of the third inning, 9-1-2 coming up against Freddie Garcia. Ramon Santiago, a switch hitting infielder, getting to start at second base today. He leads it off. A .260 hitter during the regular season. Garcia with a 3-up, 3-down second inning. Already has 3 strikeouts. Well, Freddie Garcia has been around a long time, 13 years in the major leagues. Has had some postseason success. He was part of that 2005 Chicago White Sox World Series winning ball club, and he was a big part of that great starting pitching core. Went 44 1/3 out of the 45 innings, and it was Garcia who logged a complete game in that World Series. As Santiago bounces 1-2 to Teixeira. Out number 1. Freddie Garcia has been a big winner throughout his career. 50 games over 500, which is why Joe Girardi has no problem giving him the ball for game 2. Back to the top of the order, Austin Jackson. We were talking to Jim Leland earlier today about Austin Jackson and the fact that he strikes out a lot. Not your prototypical leadoff hitter. He's fast like a leadoff hitter, but he's a guy that swings and misses a great deal. And Jim Leland had to back him off the notion that he's a leadoff hitter. Just be yourself, he said.
Well, I think he's really stuck in the middle. He doesn't know whether to take pitches and work deep in the count or use his aggressiveness, which is his strength.
Cano takes care of him for out number 2. And 2 quick outs for Freddie Garcia here in the 3rd.
I think some people tend to forget. You mentioned Garcia's record of 50 games over 500, but really he's had 2 careers, John, when he was a guy that could strike out close to 200 batters in a season. He's not that guy anymore. More tantalizing now at the latter stages of his career.
Yeah, he had great extension on everything earlier in his career, dominating strikeout type guy, and now he's just not in a hurry.
As Ordonez rips one back up the middle, a base hit. Bobbled by Granderson. Ordonez will not advance. Magli Ordonez 2 for 2 against Garcia.
I don't care if you're from the same country. If a guy owns you like that, it's hard to stay friends, isn't it?
I'm telling you. And he owns him.
Well, you got a guy at a plate that's not usually going to see more than 3 pitches per at bat. He just likes to swing and jump on the first thing he looks at. The pitcher knows that. It's in the scouting report.
And he swings away on the first pitch. Alex Rodriguez goes the easy way for the out. Ends up as a quick inning for Freddie Garcia. Yankees coming up. Gardner will lead off. Zach Greinke for the Brewers, Chris Carpenter for the Cardinals, Cliff Lee for the Phillies, followed by Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Brett Gardner leads off for New York. Gardner, Jeter, Granderson coming up against Max Scherzer, coming off a 3-up, 3-down inning as well. Picked up his 2nd strikeout in the 2nd inning.
Lucky no one was on base for that little slip up there by Scherzer.
And we saw a balk yesterday by Doug Fister of the Tigers.
In today's terms, that'd be a reboot, I guess.
Do-over. Can't balk with nobody on as he deals a strike to Gardner, and it's quickly 0-2 on the Yankees' 9-hole hitter. Acts as a 2nd leadoff hitter. A tremendous base stealing threat. And it was Gardner who had the big hit. Now Cano had the grand slam, but Gardner's 2 RBI single on an 0-2 pitch with 2 outs in the 6th inning is really the one that got it started for the Yankees. It gave New York a 4-1 lead at the time. And then 3 batters later, Cano hit the grand slam. Bouncing ball, Cabrera ranging over. Scherzer having to hurry to the bag in time for the out. A terrific play, Santiago to Scherzer. Scherzer knew right away and hustled to the bag with a speedy Gardner on his way. Very well done by the Tigers.
It's a play you never want to see the runner slide. He's going to only lose time. Nice play by Santiago. Nice timing. But Gardner has so much speed that any time he goes into a slide, he's only going to slow down. If he runs through the base, he might beat this out. See, there was some air under that baseball.
Yeah, when you're sliding to first base, you're not having your arm straight out and you're actually hitting your arm. Your arm's going to be more parallel to your body. And the only time you can do that is when there's a bad throw at first and you need to avoid the runner. I agree. You can't convince me that you're faster sliding into her first.
Now Miguel Cabrera at first base. One of the problems he has at first, he ranges too far over to the right side. That has been a constant theme for the Tigers this year, and he puts Scherzer in a bad spot right there, but the Tigers execute the play. And our second 4-1 putout of the day already. Derek Jeter with one away.
You know, there was a day when we saw that play by Gardner with the slide. He probably is thinking he's going to avoid contact. But there was a day, if the pitcher didn't cover that base properly, you just run him over at first base.
And Scherzer went right to the middle of the bag as well. Puts you in great risk of injury with a head-first slide in that situation. As Jeter gets sawed off, Cabrera gives it a look, and he'll make the catch. Miguel Cabrera pulls one in foul territory. Jeter retired. 2 gone for Scherzer in the third.
Well, the only way he gets that baseball, even against a right-handed hitter, he's got to play him closer to the line because of Jeter's propensity to hit the ball to right field. Nice athletic play there by Cabrera.
Bit of a snow cone popping out of that glove.
He's saying that it was spinning.
So 2 gone, and it's Granderson. Scherzer struck out Granderson in the first inning. Got him looking. We got MVP candidates everywhere in this series. Granderson will be one of the leading candidates for the most valuable player award in the American League for his work in the regular season. Certainly Cano is on the board. Miguel Cabrera, Justin Verlander. There's 60 MVP votes, and those votes had to be in prior to the beginning of the postseason. So they won't be swayed by Cano's big day yesterday in the playoffs. And a little changeup from Scherzer, drops in there for strike 2.
Valverde, he's got to be in that consideration. Didn't blow a save.
Yeah, only perfect, right? 49 for 49.
2-2. Scherzer delivers a fastball. Granderson high in the air, right center. And Austin Jackson will settle under it. And the side retired in order again for Scherzer. 7 in a row by the big right-hander. Postseason baseball. Tigers lead 2-0. 3 innings in the books. A Miguel Cabrera home run in the first inning, just inside the right field foul pole. As the Tigers on top, Cabrera leads off the 4th. We'll take you back to the first inning. This came with 2 outs. Not in the air long. And a Yankee Stadium home run in that right field corner. Cabrera's first hit of this postseason.
You saw that season number of 344. That won the AL batting title this year. He's only held the lead for 4 days all season long. And that was the last 4 days of the season. Came out of nowhere.
At the highest batting average in the big leagues this year. Jose Reyes won the batting title in the National League of the Mets. And there's a swing and a miss. Freddie Garcia answers with a strikeout on Cabrera. Victor Martinez coming up. We check in with Tom Verducci on the hobbled designated hitter Martinez.
Yeah, Victor Martinez did foul a ball off his right big toe on the final day of the season. Now, he felt okay Friday night, but he told me last night, Saturday night, was really in pain. His swing was compromised on that landing foot of his left-handed stroke. So today he came in, he received a pain-killing injection in that big toe, took batting practice, and declared himself much better, good to go.
You know what's interesting when you listen to that report by Tommy is that almost all hitters to a man, they say when their foundation is compromised, whether it's their legs or their ankles or their toe, as Tom says, it really affects the entire part of their swing. And right when you watch Martinez, extreme crouch he hits from, puts a lot of weight on that foot.
Well, the only saving grace is he doesn't have to play a position and make it even worse. Can you imagine catching and putting all that pressure on that, or even pitching for that matter? You know, that toe is very important, I'm sure, as it is to a hitter, but playing that catcher position would be even more difficult.
Well, Garcia ahead of Victor Martinez. A ball and 2 strikes. He's had some things go in his toe that makes you squirm a little bit. Had it drilled to relieve pressure prior to this postseason, and then the injection, the pain-killing injection, to get ready for this game. So going through a lot to be on the field, and wearing that big brace on his right foot. He's certainly not running well. We saw that last night. Martinez did have a hit in the 9th inning last night, 1 for 3 with a walk in game 1. And down he goes. Garcia rings the bell on the outside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 4th inning as we check in with Matt Weiner in Atlanta.
Hey, Brian, time for a game break presented by Banks.
And challenge Prince Fielder. It brought to mind 1984, didn't it? Sorry, John.
No,
but the Tigers and the San Diego Padres and the great Sparky Anderson saying he don't want to pitch to you, he don't want to walk you, you know. And Kurt Gibson hits the big home run. Gossage, of course, didn't walk Kurt Gibson.
Hey, I was in row 21 at Tiger Stadium and saw it live, and I can remember that like it was yesterday. And he hit it in the upper deck.
Sweet irony.
I didn't mean to get you all teary-eyed here.
No, that was a great moment in my childhood.
But it was Gibson who challenged Prince Fielder yesterday. Zach Greinke on the mound for Milwaukee, coming back on 3 days rest. We'll see how effective he is. 2 outs, back-to-back strikeouts for Freddie Garcia. Alex Avila now down on the count. Garcia looking to strike out the side here, and this big Yankee crowd would love to see the same. Garcia struck out Avila in the 2nd inning.
Russell Martin, after last night's game with Nova and the fork ball from Garcia today, he must think at times he should just stay in the squat position. Just get down on his knees, because he's going to have to block at least 3 out of 5 pitches.
Forget shin guards. He needs thigh pads.
That's right.
Well, between Martin and Tony Randazzo last night, they wore a few of them. Another 2-strike pitch from Garcia. And it goes full, 3-2. Garcia has given up 3 hits. The 2-run homer by Cabrera in the 1st. But already with 5 Ks, he's 3 2/3. As Avila bounces one on a hop to Cano. Silky smooth makes the play. Another 1-2-3 inning. And it'll be Robinson Cano who will lead off when we come back. 2-0 Tigers. League Division Series, 2-0 Tigers. On a Miguel Cabrera 1st inning 2-out home run. Max Scherzer back on the mound, and he'll face the heart of this Yankees order in the 4th. 2nd time through the batting order. Robinson Cano will lead off. Scherzer walked him on 4 straight in the 1st inning. Had 2 walks in the 1st before he retired to Shera with 2 men aboard. Has not allowed a base runner since.
Well, he's had a big strike zone so far this game, which helps Scherzer and Garcia. Eric "No-No" Cooper so far has been calling that ball along the low part of the strike zone.
Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire in his 6th division series. And Ron mentioned Eric "No-No" Cooper. This guy has been behind the plate for 3 no-hitters in the major leagues. Hideo Nomo back in 01, and twice with Mark Burley. Burley's no-hitter, and then his perfect game in 09. Umpires hate when you describe them as pitchers umpires, hitters umpires these days, but certainly Eric Cooper is a pitcher's umpire.
It was interesting there. The first pitch he called a strike, I think he realized he might have missed that. That might have been down. Second pitch was a better strike. He didn't call it. Kind of a makeup call. Things you don't see as much anymore.
A ball and 2 strikes on Cano. Now Scherzer, you go back to his regular season start against the Yankees. The last time he pitched against New York, that was in Detroit. He went 8 shutouts. So add the 3 today and 11 consecutive scoreless innings against this heavy hitting New York Yankee lineup. Twice a winner during the regular seasons again against New York, as Cano spoils another one. John, you said in our open today that the Yankees are now built around Robinson Cano. That has not always been the case, certainly, but he's in the 3-hole. He's hitting in the premier spot in the premier lineup in the American League. And Cano, in Joe Girardi's words, is the guy that makes this offense go right now.
Well, there's no doubt he revolutionized not only his position, but he's changed the lineup in a way that he just doesn't give in. Doesn't matter if it's right, left. And the one thing he's done better in the last couple of years is when there's been runners on, he's got damage. And before he used to try to probably hit the ball too hard or try and get those runners in. Now he's making great swings and a lot of grand slams.
Well, it's almost blasphemy to say that this team has changed, but it is changing. And you know, Jeter almost hit 300. He got his 3,000th hit. Teixeira hits the ball to the ballpark every year. A-Rod has the great career numbers. Posada maybe in the fall of his career. But this team right now, at this moment, is built around Robinson Cano.
And that late switch to the 3-hole late in the season for Girardi. As Cano, normally a very aggressive hitter. He's a first pitch swinger, likes to get after a pitcher early in a count, but he can also spoil a lot of pitches, can get deep in a count, certainly not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. And you could talk to just about every general manager in baseball. If you had to start a team with a position player, this would be the guy you'd start it with. As Cano swings and misses, goes up the ladder with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball for out number 1. Moments ago, we spent a little time with Tigers manager Jim Leland. But Jim, we look at the middle of each of these lineups, and for the Yankees with Cano, Rodriguez, Teixeira, just talk about strategy, game plan from your perspective with this very powerful lineup of the Yankees.
Well, there's not much you can do because it's kind of a catch-22. You know, they're so deep in their lineup that it's pretty hard. You know, some lineups you can pick out 1 guy, maybe 2 guys. This lineup's pretty deep all the way through. Granderson's got 40-some homers, so you know, you just do the best you can. You got to make pitches.
Scherzer, a couple of walks in that first inning, a little nerves. He's really settled down.
Yeah, he's settled down pretty good right now. He's throwing the ball very well. And he got under a couple sliders, but you know, he's just got to stay on top of it and keep being aggressive after this team.
And our thanks to Jim Leland giving us a little time between innings as Alex Rodriguez in the hole at short. Peralta, long throw, and it is in time to get the out. Nice play by the Tigers shortstop.
Well, what Scherzer has done is he stayed out of the middle of the lineup, middle of the plate. He hasn't hung too many sliders. He's been able to use that changeup now, and he's going above the strike zone with some high heaters and below the strike zone. A real big key for a power pitcher because every hitter that's up there knows he's got a live fastball. They want to get after it. Stay out of that pitch box that you see, and he's going to be fine.
So Scherzer against Mark Teixeira with 2 away. Teixeira is the one hitter in the lineup the Tigers have put a big shift on, and with nobody on base, they have Santiago in that rover position out in the outfield grass. The big slugger Teixeira, usually his ground balls are pulled.
It's on the left side though, Brian. The outfield pretty straight up. Remember in yesterday's ball game, a double down the left field line by Teixeira.
A low batting average this year for Teixeira at under 250, but big production numbers. 39 homers, 111 driven in. He started that 6-run rally in the 6th with a double yesterday. His only hit so far in the series. 1 for 4 with a walk is Teixeira. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a fastball from Scherzer puts it full. At this point, Teixeira was the big out for Scherzer in the first inning when he got him to pop up with 2 on. He was down in the count 3-0 as well in that first inning, and a swing and a miss. A changeup from Scherzer. 10 in a row retired by the right-hander. 4 in the books at Yankee Stadium. On a day where the focus was on the 2 offenses, the prolific offenses of the Tigers and the Yankees. Pitchers have settled down. Freddie Garcia giving up that 2-run homer in the first with 2 away. Scherzer's been outstanding. He's retired 10 straight with 4 Ks. Johnny Peralta leads off, bottom of the order coming up for the Tigers against Garcia. Peralta bounced out to short his first time up, and behind the count 1-2 to Freddie Garcia.
You know what Freddie does? He'll throw that first pitch call curveball. If you knew it was coming, you could hit it out of the park.
It's like slow
for a strike, and then he'll go lower and lower until he gets you swinging out of the strike zone.
Has so many pitches it takes a number 5 to get them all in from Russell Martin. Not 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's go to the thumb.
Could be throwing down the catcher's glove too for 6. You know, the thing about young pitchers is when they are pitching, they always want to add. Veteran pitchers subtract to get outs.
Another 1-2 offering from Garcia, fouled away.
You know what I meant by the add and subtracting. You know, when those young pitchers, when they get in trouble, they want to throw the ball through the wall harder. Veteran pitchers relax like Garcia and take a little off the curve, take a little off the split finger, take off a little fastball.
As the old saying in baseball, power plays. But there's another old saying, less is more, and it is so effective in big games like this. Freddie Garcia, despite that 2-run homer, pitching well, actually has more strikeouts than Scherzer. He has 5 punch-outs. Had 2 Ks in the 4th inning. Peralta hanging tough. Another 1-2. Count even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Garcia will be 35 in 4 days. The Yankees pitcher has been around a long time. He came out of that great Venezuelan academy. Andres Reyner putting together an academy with many of the Venezuelan stars coming to the States as Alex Rodriguez makes a play. Peralta is retired. Moments ago, we spent a little time with Yankees manager Joe Girardi. Well, Joe, help us get perspective. Freddie Garcia, a non-roster invitee at spring training, and he is your Game 2 starter in the postseason. What has he meant to your ball club this season?
Well, he's meant a ton. I mean, he's pitched well for us all year long, and you know, he's kept us in all the games. And Freddie's the kind of guy that seems to be able to make big pitches in big situations. You know,
Cano had a historic night last night. Speak to his toughness, not only mentally but physically.
Well, physically, I mean, he's tough. I mean, he plays every day. He's the guy that gets stronger in the months of August and September. He gets hit by a pitch, he's back in there, and he plays hard every day. He's meant so much to this club.
Cano had the 6 RBI game last night. As Betemit right off the end of the bat, Teixeira gobbles it up and will take it himself. 2 up, 2 down for Garcia in the 5th inning as we send it down to Tom Verducci. Tom.
Well, Ronnie, you talked about the ability of Garcia to add and subtract. He has thrown pitches tonight from 69 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour. And in those 22 increments of miles per hour, he has hit 16 of those numbers. It's almost as if he's filling out a bingo card of velocity.
And that's what he does. I mean, he's not in a hurry on the mound. He doesn't care, and he just has that ability with feel and touch. And I call it take a little bit off your curveball, put a little bit on your cutter, maybe your split.
Santiago in the air going after the first pitch. Gardner makes the catch, and Garcia rolling along. A hit, the only 2 base runners, Cano and Rodriguez, back-to-back walks in the first inning. Scherzer is retired 10 in a row. 3 of his 4 strikeouts coming in that run of 10 consecutive. Nick Swisher takes a ball. Swisher, Posada, and Russell Martin due up. There's the line for Max Scherzer. Tell you, his changeup has been his go-to pitch so far today.
He hasn't thrown one above the knees so far.
Yeah, and he's been able to stay away from the slider that got him in trouble, could get him in trouble. It's that changeup that's saving him from that good fastball that he's throwing.
And right back to the fastball, and Swisher is late over his Betamete and just out of his reach. Well placed tarp. Betamete comes up a little bit short. It's been an oft-used tarp. That prevented Betamete from reaching into the stands a little deeper. Scherzer's been using the changeup down, the fastball up. We saw Doug Fister use the high fastball with some success yesterday until he ran into trouble in the 6th inning. Ball and 2 strikes on Swisher. It's another fastball by him. 97 that time. Everybody you talk to concerning Max Scherzer, he has a chance to give up a lot of runs, a lot of home runs, or he can do what he's doing right now against the Yankees. He has that overpowering stuff at times.
He's an interesting pitcher because at times one of his strengths is he comes at you at all different angles, but that sometimes can be his weakness because he doesn't have any consistency. But right now it's got the right tempo, the right feel, and getting that ball out in front.
Yeah, and the only thing you worry, a pitch count build up because of a lot of foul balls and a lot of pitches that he's trying to work in the zone.
And a strike called on Swisher. Max Scherzer rings up Nick Swisher. You don't see Swisher strike out looking all that often. That's number 5 for Scherzer.
Well, this is another changeup he gets away with because he pulls it. He pulls it over the inner half, but watch the late movement back. And of course, trying to get it away, but the catcher's got to reach back, and the umpire doesn't give up on the catcher reaching back, sees it all the way. Strike 3 call. And again, he's gotten the leadoff hitters. That is so big for him and the Tigers when he only have 2 runs to play with.
11 straight retired by Scherzer. And it'll be Jorge Posada now. Scherzer struck him out in the 2nd inning. Scherzer put a big fastball right by Posada. Posada hit 2 home runs off Scherzer back on April 3rd. Scherzer's first start of the season. 2 of the 4 home runs that Scherzer gave up that day. In the regular season, Scherzer's hits were up compared to his career numbers. His strikeouts a little bit down, but a career high in victories with 15. It was 15-9 for the Tigers.
His base on balls were down too. That's probably the result of those 29 home runs, throwing the ball more in the middle of the plate. Certainly not doing that today.
Well, and just keep in mind the pressure mounts as we move along in this ball game. Not only do the Tigers have a terrific bullpen with Benoit and Valverde, but they've got Verlander ready to go, their ace, in Game 3 tomorrow.
And speaking to him earlier, I can feel what he's feeling. He said he never felt worse. When you're sitting on the bench waiting to pitch, and certainly he did that twice now because he only got that 1 inning in. He said he feels better when you're on the mound and you could do something about it. He said it's going to be a little interesting watching this game, getting ready for Game 3.
This crowd is working hard to generate some life. Scherzer has kept them quiet. Scherzer has been ahead a lot. He's got the 2 strikes quickly quite often. The Yankees are 0 for 8 on 2 strike pitches today from Max Scherzer. 5 strikeouts in that mix. 3-2 pitch, and that one misses. Posada draws a walk, the first base runner since the first inning, as we send it to Atlanta and Matt Weiner. Matt.
All right, Brian, time for a game break presented by Bank of America. In just more than a half hour's time, they'll begin Game 2 between the Diamondbacks and the Brewers. On your right, Ryan Roberts, whose solo home run was the only offense for Arizona in Game 1, and Justin Upton, who they'd expect more from in Game 2. 5 o'clock Eastern time, that starts on TBS.
All right, Matt, National League in play today. Doubleheader of National League Game 2s today. This is Game 2 of the American League Division Series. And that one drills Russell Martin. Took that one on the elbow. So a walk and a hit batter. The Yankees with 2 on and 1 out. That had to hurt.
Well, Martin's flexing his hand, so it looks like he might have caught him on the left hand.
Yeah, you're right. Good call.
A lot of the hitters today, they hold the bottom of that bat with their hand kind of wrapped around the bottom, and kind of catches the fleshy part of that hand, which it did to Martin. Real exposed area, though. Those are the areas that really frighten the team as far as they move forward.
The game plan has been pitching him in all series, trying to get him to ground to the left side, and that ball rode up and in. He did not turn away from it, only to have the hand exposed right there, and a little bit of a rally here for the Yankees.
Let's take a listen here. Sounded like a lot of bat with a little bit of flesh, maybe. But a hit batter. 4 base runners today. Scherzer pitching in the stretch for the first time since the first inning now. And it's Brett Gardner with 2 on. Gardner is almost impossible to double up. He has to hit a rocket right at an infielder to turn 2. Gardner had the big hit in Game 1 yesterday. It came in the 6th inning. It was a 2-strike, 2-out, 2 RBI single. And it was the first hit with a runner in scoring position for the Yankees, who had been 0 for 9 prior to that base hit.
An interesting play there by Scherzer. No need to do that with Posada on second base.
The Yankees have one of their slowest runners at second. As Gardner takes a strike. The Tigers, an interesting outfield setup here. Delman Young playing Brett Gardner like a National League pitcher. He is very shallow in left field.
He doesn't usually hit the ball to left with any power, but he'll surprise you with his power to right field.
Real important that Scherzer stays with his mechanics, gets the ball away when it's intended away. Don't crossfire it back over the middle of the plate. That's where Gardner can do some damage.
The 1-1. Gardner takes a strike. Scherzer back in there. 92-mile-an-hour heater, and it's a ball and 2 strikes.
One of the luxuries he has of his fastball is he can get away with some mistakes because it does have enough miles per hour on it. But in situations where you really want to take the sting out of the bat, you've got to hit that spot more often than not against this Yankee lineup.
Brett Gardner does not have a hit in his career against Scherzer. 0 for 7 lifetime against Max Scherzer. The 1-2 and a little slicer to Betemit. He's right there to make the play, and the runners hold their ground. And out number 2, and a big out for Max Scherzer and the Tigers.
You see what the Tiger catcher's doing there, Ron. He's trying to set up really, really late to not give away location. Gets the ball inside right off his fists. Not much that the runners could do.
The defensive charts got him right there.
Yep.
So 2 gone, back to the top of the order. Derek Jeter's third plate appearance against Max Scherzer today. He's 0 for 2. He flew out to center field. It was a terrific catch over the shoulder by Austin Jackson in the first inning. Jeter popped up into foul territory in the third. Two on, two out. And a bouncing ball. Betemit watches it go foul. Yankees fans have seen Derek Jeter come through so often in the clutch in his career, not just in the regular season, certainly in the postseason. Phil Koch, hard-throwing left-hander, a former Yankee, is in the bullpen.
Jeter's almost played a full season in the postseason. His 149th game this afternoon.
There's a big bat for Max Scherzer to deal with. Jeter on the ground to short. Peralta the easy way, and the side is retired. Scherzer, a walk and a hit batter, gets out of it. 5 no-hit innings against the Yankees in Game 2. Guys, this is a story here. As Max Scherzer is not allowed to hit through the first five innings. His pitch count is getting up there, Ron, though. We already saw Phil Koch in the bullpen. How do you see this one moving forward?
Well, Jimmy Leland would love his pitcher and give him an opportunity to have a no-hitter, but the most important thing are the shutout innings, and I think Jimmy really is going to concentrate on making sure he manages this game. But I think for the Tigers, going through that third time in the lineup for the Yankees, they've got to score some add-on runs, Jim.
Yeah, they really do. This is the time where you put some runs on the board, keep the crowd down, give your pitcher an extra boost by putting some add-on runs on the board.
Oh, this is a big outing for Jim Leland from Max Scherzer today. Austin Jackson, a bouncing ball to Jeter. Got to hurry, and the throw unable to be dug out. Teixeira went for the sweep on the low throw from Jeter, and Jackson is aboard, and the speed of Jackson rushing Jeter a little bit, and a man on for the Tigers to start the 6th inning.
Well, from Jeter, you'll see, if you see errors, they're usually from throwing. And this one throwing across his body, that in between hop from Teixeira, who usually catches everything, but tough one on this play. Just spiked it right in the ground.
That'll be an E6, an error on the shortstop, Derek Jeter.
If you're looking for a stolen base out of Jackson, the best chance is on the first pitch. 12 of his 22 stolen bases on the first pitch to the next hitter.
Maglio Ordonez has 2 hits. Remember last night, Jackson was a little hesitant to run, but when he finally did run after a leadoff walk, Ordonez hit a ground ball right on the bag at second base. Cano was covering, he was right there, and he turned it into a double play. And you know, the Tigers are thinking, we don't run much, but when we do, we put a defender right in the position to turn 2 last night.
Well, 2 lessons in that. He should run earlier in the count. And then secondly, you can put a hit and run on with Ordonez, but you might not want to because he has 2 hits in the game, came into the game hitting .320, really owns Garcia.
Ordonez, a big swing, and fouls it back. This is the part of the order that the Tigers have counted on all season. And then the addition of Delman Young in mid-August just strengthened this batting order. It's about as quiet as 50,000 fans can be right now. Max Scherzer has kept them down.
Interesting, before the game and talking to Jimmy Leland, he said, you know, usually against a right-hander I might use Andy Dirks, I might use Don Kelly, especially against hard throwers, but softer throwers, he went with Ordonez and the numbers.
That could be Ordonez's final at bat if the Tigers stay in the lead or if they add to their lead. Ordonez typically comes out for defensive purposes. See the numbers for Austin Jackson this year, 22 out of 27. And he takes off, and Ordonez rips one to left field. Jackson on his way to third, and Gardner no throw. So the runners in motion. The Tigers on a base hit from Ordonez. Have him at the corners for Delman Young.
Well, just a hanging split finger right in the middle of the plate. 3 hits now for Ordonez. And nice job by Austin Jackson. Picks up the baseball, challenges Brett Gardner with the lead, and he goes from first to third.
Ordonez will be lifted for a pinch runner. Don Kelly, much faster runner, much better defender. He'll take over in right field for the Tigers. So now Garcia in the teeth of this Tigers batting order with runners at first and third and nobody out in the 6th inning. Delman Young has swung at 2 first pitches from Garcia, 0 for 2. And he swings at the first pitch again, fouls it back.
Really, the only thing, if you're Delman Young, you don't want to do is hit a ground ball hard right to A-Rod. You want to get it to the right side, get the ball in the air, elevate it. Don't rely on anybody else to get this run in. It's your job to get the run in. Even at worst, you hit into a double play up the middle. You've got to get the run in and add on to that 2-run lead.
Oh, good play by Russell Martin. Showing the great hands to save a run. That's like a home run for a catcher. Saves a run defensively.
Well, good slider. Oh, I'll take it back. Forkball there that Garcia can throw both ways. He can hold on to it a little longer and move it away from the right-hander or move it in also. Martin getting the signs from the coaches.
Ball and a strike. Runners at the corners for the Tigers. And Young got in on his hands a little bit. 1-2 the count. During the regular season, Young combined with the Tigers and the Minnesota Twins bounced into 19 double plays. And he hit 268. He's not the best hitter the Tigers have. That's what you'd normally have in the 3-hole in the batting order, but he's in the best spot in front of Cabrera to see a lot of strikes. Which is actually what you want with a free swinger. The 1-2. And he got him. Garcia, a big strikeout when he needed it. 1 gone in the 6th as Garcia picks up a K on Young.
Well, you look here again, a good split finger fastball that goes down out of the zone. And he's done part 1 of not allowing a run. Now he can get a double play and save off the Yankees. But I'll tell you what, that's why it's so important in these type of games. You've got to do the little things to execute. Even if he hits the ball and gets in a double play, it's 3-0 Detroit.
So Cabrera with 1 away. Cabrera led the Tigers in double plays grounded into this year, 24. But the other half of that story, Cabrera, one of the most dangerous hitters. Safe to say he is on the short list of the best right-handed hitters in baseball today.
Cano had his historic day for the Yankees yesterday. Cabrera trying to have his day for the Tigers this afternoon.
And you got to pick your poison here and let the count determine whether or not you pitch aggressively to Cabrera. I know the base is not open, but there is a base open to face Martinez, who can't run well as it is with that toe.
Swing and a miss. Going with the off speed again. Freddie Garcia even in the count on Cabrera. Garcia had a finger injury. It was a kitchen accident. He actually cut his finger, his index finger. Now he throws a fork ball or a split finger, and that pitch was not available to him. That was in August. It's not an issue now. He always loads it up in that split finger grip. That's the pitch he struck out Young with. The 1-1. Cabrera back up the middle and a base hit. Austin Jackson will score the run as Cabrera delivers in the clutch. A 1-out RBI single for Miguel Cabrera, and the Tigers have a 3-0 lead.
Well, it's pretty obvious what he was trying to do with Cabrera. He was trying to get anything he could down in the dirt as we look at the way he's attacked him in this pitch sequence. First pitch down. He's going to get him on the second pitch to swing at it. And now the third pitch right down there, but not quite in the dirt. And that's what a great hitter can do when he's patient and doesn't jump out at the baseball. He stays back and uses his strength and leverage to deliver the base hit.
That is a big hit. Still one out. Here's Victor Martinez. Martinez has had a great career in the postseason in spots like this with runners in scoring position. A .400 batting average, has 6 hits in 15 at-bats. Two on, one away. Martinez back up the middle of the base hit. Don Kelly around third, going to be sent home, and he will score. So Martinez delivers a run. 4-0 Tigers. And the middle of the Tigers batting order getting it done here in the 6th inning against Freddie Garcia.
We talked about the middle of that lineup had to come through this season. Martinez #1, Cabrera #2, hitting with runners in scoring position. Just a bullet up the box, a little hanging slider on the outside part. Ball that could have been a double play, except it was hit so sharply past Cano.
Don Kelly, the pinch runner, scores the run. 2 runs are in. Still just 1 out. Remember, this inning started with a Jeter error. Pitching change here in the Bronx. Face the left-handed hitting catcher Alex Avila.
Boone Logan has got one job and one job only. Get this left-hander out, maybe get a double play. Don't know how long he'll be in the inning with another reliever in the bullpen for the Yankees.
2 on, 1 away, and Avila swing and a miss on the first pitch. Logan has scuffled a little bit against left-handed hitters lately. Girardi gives him a shot here against Avila.
Yeah, Brian, they're 6 for their last 15 against Logan, the left-handed hitters.
Quickly 0-2 on Avila. We see Avila in his first postseason of his career. Had an RBI yesterday in Game 1. Avila handled left-handers pretty well during the regular season. His overall batting average was .295. He hit .273 against left-handed pitchers. That is a balk. A balk. Cabrera started then stopped at second base. And Boone Logan just stops right in the middle of his motion. That is a big play, second and third for the Tigers now.
Well, what happened was Jeter was yelling behind him and it caught him off guard. You're going to see him take this hop right here, and he's yelling, and then all of a sudden he's like, "What? Who's yelling at me?" And actually stopped his motion, which of course is a balk.
Always continue with your pitch.
So now the Yankees are forced to bring their infield in. Takes him out of a double play chance as Avila swing and a miss. A strikeout for Boone Logan. 2 gone in the inning. So Girardi can loosen up his infield now with 2 away. And Logan will stay against Johnny Peralta. 2 outs, 2 runs are in. 4-0 Tigers. Peralta on the first pitch, a cut and a miss.
Well, Peralta's always been dangerous in the postseason. 16 hits and 48 at bats with a couple of home runs.
He was one of the Tigers' most productive hitters in the clutch. Had a .380 batting average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position during the regular season. That's the spot he's in here. And a swing and a miss. It's 0-2 on Peralta.
Martin going out to speak to Logan. He's got that 0-2 count, John. Boy, one of those moves you could look back on that could bounce against Joe Girardi, trying to sneak Logan past the right-hander Peralta.
Peralta, an all-star with the Tigers this season as a shortstop, but a former Cleveland Indian. He was productive in the 07 postseason against the Yankees and Red Sox at a .333 batting average, a couple of home runs, 10 RBIs. And the Indians defeated the Yankees in 4 games in the ALDS. 0-2 pitch. Ball and 2 strikes.
Well, the Tigers are trying to do what the Yankees did yesterday and get some big 2-out hits and 2-out RBIs. Will go a long way for this young staff and the guy that's on the mound, and certainly the guy that's waiting to pitch tomorrow.
Now remember, Martinez not running well at second base as Peralta hangs in there.
Peralta trying to have his Brett Gardner moment of yesterday's ball game.
That 2 was in the 6th inning. The Yankees scored 6 to put it away in the 6th. Garcia is out. 4 runs in so far. 3 of them earned. Big spot. Ball and 2 strikes. And Peralta swings and misses. The inning is over. Back-to-back strikeouts for Boone Logan, but the Tigers get a pair. 4-0. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th.
The league division.
The Tigers with 2 big runs in the 6th inning, and it's 4-0. And now all eyes on Max Scherzer, who has not allowed a hit through the first 5 innings against this potent Yankees offense. Tigers tightened up defensively. Don Kelly will stay. He pinch ran. He'll stay in to play right. Brandon Inge takes over at third base. It's their best defensive unit on the field now for Jim Leyland and the Tigers. Curtis Granderson, Robinson Cano, and Alex Rodriguez. 3rd time through the batting order. Scherzer's pitch count is at 84. This is number 85 on the way as Granderson lifts one in the air to left. Delman Young makes a catch for out number 1. Well, Scherzer, what a story this is. 8 shutout innings against the Yankees in the regular season in Detroit. And he's working in the 6th with zeros across the board at this point. Last time the Yankees were no hit through 5 innings in a postseason game back in 06. That was in the ALDS of Game 4. Jeremy Bonderman of the Tigers. Here's Robinson Cano. In that game in 06, it was Robinson Cano who got the first Yankees hit in the 6th inning.
What are you trying to say?
Just laying out all the facts.
Oh, okay.
As we move forward here. Off Jeremy Bonderman.
Did that break up the no-hitter?
That did.
Oh, all right. Well, there you have it.
A big cut from Cano. Ball and 2 strikes on Cano. He was a strikeout victim in the 4th inning. Reached on a walk in the 1st. Yankees have had base runners, 4 of them in this game. 3 walks and a hit batter. Scherzer has not had to pitch from the stretch much in this one.
You know, Scherzer was the talk of baseball early in the season. Got off to that 6-0 start, but after that went 9-9 after May 9th.
And 2 of those 6 wins to start the year against the Yankees. A 15-game winner this season. 2-2 on the way. Cano into left. Young on the run. Still on the run. Cannot get it. A base hit for Cano. Deja vu from 06. It is Cano who delivers the first Yankee hit. There's a lot of left fielders that can make that catch. Delvin Young is not one of them.
Well, again, here's what he's trying to do. He's trying to step on the gas and take off the gas. There's the changeup. There's the fastball. There's the gas. And then he's going to go right back, trying to get it inside, throws it down the middle, and there he takes another changeup. And then the fastball that was meant for a way, cross-fired in. He just got jammed enough to get the first hit.
So it is Cano with the first hit. And now this crowd is back in it a little bit. 4-0 Tigers with Alex Rodriguez. Jumping on the first pitch, a fastball.
There's not many times that you see as good a hitter as Rodriguez be pitched the same way every single at bat. They feel right now that his bat's a little slow and they are just crowding him with fastballs.
A-Rod's power numbers down significantly since the knee surgery. Just 3 home runs in his last 153 at-bats in the regular season. Despite that, he hit 16 for the year with 62 runs batted in. He's hitless in this series so far. 0 for 5 yesterday with an RBI ground out. 0 for 1 today with a walk. Tigers look to turn a pair. And Rodriguez takes one inside. Jim Leland told us earlier today he was hoping realistically to get 6 from Max Scherzer. That hope is still alive, but he's gotten a lot more than that at this point as Rodriguez lifts one in the air. Kelly in for defensive purposes runs it down easily for out number 2. Two gone. Cano at first base with Mark Teixeira coming up. Teixeira had a chance in the first inning with 2 on. He popped up to end the inning. A big uppercut swing. A double barrel action in the bullpen. Phil Koch is the left-hander on the left side with Ryan Perry the right-hander. We saw Perry last night. He worked a scoreless inning with a couple of strikeouts. A hard thrower. And a switch hitter Nick Swisher on deck. A strike. 1 and 2 on Teixeira.
That's twice now to Teixeira's last at bat and this at bat. He sees that as up in the strike zone. Does not like that call by home plate umpire Eric Cooper.
Well, we look at pitch tracks right here and it shows it just off the corner. That's been the lenient side. If there's going to be an inch or two, that's where Mr. Cooper's strike zone, if it expands a little bit on that side.
And if you're Scherzer, don't you have to see how far you can go to get a swing here with Teixeira? After that, ball and 2 strikes. Cano is still at first, and Teixeira breaks his bat right to Peralta on the shift. Scherzer answers. The Tigers get him 2 more runs in the top of the 6th and a 0 in the bottom of the 6th for Max Scherzer. To you by AT&T. Rethink possible. And catch Conan tomorrow with Jack McBrayer after MLB postseason coverage only on TBS.
Yeah, I talked to the pilots earlier today. You know they've been grounded, Brian, because of the winds and the weather. Today it was just under 20 miles an hour. They could get out there.
Looks like a little rain out there.
There's a little rain out to the west side there.
Because blimp operators like yourself have to see that.
Yeah,
on the horizon.
Coming from.
Now Max Scherzer, the story, as he has shut out the Yankees on 1 hit through 6 innings. Joe Girardi back to his bullpen. Boone Logan got out of the 6th inning with a couple of Ks, and now it's going to be Corey Wade, the 3rd Yankee pitcher of this game.
Corey Wade, changeups, curveballs.
Brandon Inge, his first plate appearance. An end of the bat single for Brandon Inge. Remember, he came in defensively last inning and comes up with a hit to start it for the Tigers here in the 7th. just a reminder on TBS, Game 2 in the National League Division Series. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the Milwaukee Brewers from Miller Park. Right now on TBS with Daniel Hudson against Zach Greinke. Here on TNT, the Tigers have a 4-0 lead. Santiago drops a bunt down. It's a good one. And a sacrifice bunt for the Tigers second baseman. Inge to second base and back to the top of the order with a runner in scoring position. So we got Greinke and Hudson, Arizona, Milwaukee later tonight on TBS at 8:30 Eastern. It is Chris Carpenter against Cliff Lee. Boy, what a heavyweight matchup that is. Two horses on the mound. Cardinals, Phillies. St. Louis trying to steal a road win before they head back to Busch Stadium.
What do you think? 10-9 ball game there?
It's usually the way it ends up, right?
Well, I tell you what, for Austin Jackson right here, he needs a hit in the worst way just to get some confidence going, just to feel like that leadoff spot that we talked about he's trying to get used to. But a hit would go a long way right here to his confidence. A few more curveballs like that will continue what's been a high strikeout total for the Tigers leadoff hitter.
Yeah, Jackson has struck out 3 times already. He is 0 for 6 at the plate. Did reach on an error in the 6th inning. That was a key play in this game. Jeter committed the error with the speedy Jackson running, and down he goes. So a strikeout with a runner at second base. 2 gone in the inning now. And it's going to be Don Kelly, his first plate appearance.
When you make these defensive changes, sometimes they compromise your lineup. Ordonez, a guy who was 3 for 3 off Garcia, now out of the lineup. Kelly in there.
Kelly pinch ran for Maglio Ordonez in the 6th inning. Ordonez with 3 singles and scored 2 of the 4 Tiger runs. It's been a good combination for the Tigers. Very solid platoon for Jim Leyland as his winning version. If the Tigers are down late in games, Ordonez stays because he wants the offense. When they take the lead late, a terrific bullpen and some outstanding defenders that can come in for some holes defensively. And Ordonez in right field and Bettamy to third base.
See a little change up there from Wade. The last time Wade was on the mound in the regular season, gave up the home run to Dan Johnson of the Tampa Bay Rays that completed that great comeback by the Rays to get them into the postseason.
That was a 2-out, 2-strike 9th inning home run for Dan Johnson. I mean, the Rays down to their last strike. One of the greatest days in baseball history in the regular season. As it came down to it, with the Rays and the Cardinals swiping those wild card bids as Kelly swing and a miss on a 3-1 count. He took a little off in that hitter's count and it's 3-2.
You're Brandon Inge. You got to get a little bit bigger lead than you're getting at second. The outfield's kind of shallow. With 2 outs, you're going on contact, but don't take that lead for granted. Get as big a lead as you can in case they get a hit right here. You don't have a play at the plate.
4-0 Tigers. Wade trying to keep it that way. The 3-2, and it's popped up. Russell Martin will give it a look. And right down the screen, he makes the catch for the out. Inning over. So Wade a scoreless 7th. And it's stretch time here at Yankee Stadium. We turn it over to Yankee Stadium's presentation of a pair of 2-run innings for the Tigers. 4-0 Detroit. And MasterCard invites you to eat, drink, and be generous this fall in support of cancer research. Visit standuptocancer.org/MasterCard for more details. Now, the Tigers have done their part. The middle of their order has done the damage. Cabrera with 3 RBIs today, including the 2-run homer in the first. Victor Martinez has the other RBI, and now it is Max Scherzer back in the spotlight as he works into the 7th inning at Yankee Stadium. Nick Swisher will lead off, then Posada, and then Russell Martin. 6 shutout innings, just 1 hit. That was a Robinson Cano flare into left field in the 6th.
Well, what he's done all game, and hopefully for him, what he needs to do is continue getting the leadoff guy out. He's gotten him out every inning, done a great job controlling the momentum of the crowd, and the Yankees not creating too much tension with less than 2 outs for him.
He's been able to throw the fastball as high as 97 miles per hour today. But it's what he's done with the off speed that has been the story for Max Scherzer in this one.
His arm action on his changeup is about as good as it gets.
How about that? Those 5 no-hit innings, tying the longest against the Yankees in postseason history. The 5 and the 3rd for Max Scherzer. Before Cano's hit with 1 away in that 6th inning. Leland has to be ecstatic. He said he'd hope to get 6. But knowing the stuff of Scherzer, said he wouldn't be surprised if he dominated as Swisher pulls one foul just past the bag at first.
He might be ecstatic, but he's still on the top step of that dugout.
One thing he couldn't do for his relievers yesterday was give them room for error, coming in with the bases loaded, trying to face your hottest hitter on the Yankees. Look for the relievers today to have much less traffic, I think, and more room to get their feet wet into the game.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Swisher, and he lays off. 3-2 is the count. Figured Leland's leash is short here. He's got 2 relievers in the bullpen. They are ready to go. And by the way, when the Tigers get 4 or more runs, when they have a lead of 4 or more, they are 44-1. That was their number in the regular season. They're used to finishing off games. It's one of the reasons why the Tigers were the runaway champs in the American League Central. Payoff pitch, and it's inside. The Yankees get a man on. Swisher walks as we check in with Tom Verducci with more on Max Scherzer.
Yeah, we talked about that 3-way deal between Arizona, New York, and Detroit. All 3 teams happy with the deal. But some wondered at the time, why would the Diamondbacks trade a 25-year-old pitcher who threw in the mid-90s? Well, as you know, his mechanics are not textbook, and they wondered if maybe the wear and tear of starting would catch up with him, and maybe he profiled as a relief pitcher. But with Detroit now, 2 consecutive years, he's started at least 31 games and thrown at least 195 innings. And yes, John Smoltz in today's game, that qualifies as something of a workhorse.
Yeah, it's a lot different, these numbers that we're looking at, with the exception of Philadelphia Phillies.
A man on for the Yankees with Posada at the plate, back up the middle, a base hit. Jorge Posada on the first pitch. 2 on to start it for the Yankees in the bottom of the 7th inning. And decision time for Jim Leland.
Well, ball down, little ground ball right up the middle. Scherzer, and the way he follows through, does not get in any kind of fielding position, so base hit for Posada.
Jim Leland on his way out, hoping to get Scherzer through 7. It's the bottom of the order that starts something here in the bottom of the 7th. A walk and a hit. Scherzer is out. Impressive today. 6+ against the Yankees. But now Leland will count on his bullpen to take him to the finish line. We'll take a break. Lead, but the Yankees are now threatening with 2 on. They're at the bottom of their order. Max Scherzer is out, and Leland is going to go to his setup man a little early here in this game. With nobody out in the 7th, it's Joaquin Benoit who will pitch.
Yeah, in the first part, struggling through May 16th, 7.98 ERA since 1.36, and no runs in his last 22 innings. I'd say that's on a roll.
Russell Martin. Tigers are looking for a ground ball to turn 2. Martin hoping to keep the line moving, and a big swing and a miss. The first 3 hitters for the Yankees in this inning, all swinging away on the first offerings for the pitchers.
Last time Martin was in this situation in the regular season, he hit into a triple play against Tampa Bay.
The Yankees held hitless until the 6th. Now 2 hits. Benoit for the Tampa Bay Rays in the ALDS last year against the Texas Rangers. 3 2/3 scoreless innings. Not only did he not allow a run, didn't even allow a hit in those 3 2/3. That was a 5-game series, ultimately won by the Rangers. But Benoit pitched very well in that series. Swisher at second, Posada at first. And an 0-2 count on Russell Martin. Good block by Avila.
Success came late to Benoit, a guy who kicked around the farm system for Texas for years, showed inkling in 2007 that he was going to be a mainstay with 70 games pitched for Texas, but then had right labrum surgery in 2009 and has come back from that surgery better than ever.
You never know after the shoulder surgery how long it's going to take. He was outstanding 1 year later with the Rays, a 1.34 ERA last season. Had a rough first half for the Tigers, early part of the schedule, but has been terrific lately. Quite a 1-2 punch with he and Jose Valverde. 1-2 pitch in the air to right, and that's playable. Don Kelly is under it, tagging at second Swisher, and he will not challenge the arm of Kelly. One gone. And a big out for Benoit in the 7th inning.
Well, one thing Benoit does is he'll almost put the hitter to sleep when he comes to the stretch. It takes about 7 seconds once he comes to the stretch to deliver that pitch. He looks back, he looks in, but a big out right there for the Tigers.
Girardi's going to go to his bench. So instead of the left-handed hitting Gardner, it's going to be Eric Chavez. So Gardner is out, and Chavez up in a big spot. Eric Chavez. See his numbers during the regular season, an injury-filled season, but when he played, he did a nice job for the Yankees. Broke his foot earlier this year. And another swing and a miss. Off speed again from Benoit. It's 0-2 on Chavez.
Those two swings are the reason why left-handers 2 for their last 40. And if you thought it was sunny, it was, but now it is raining.
Now the rain coming down, the fans racing to the concourse. Their backs turned on a big moment here. The 0-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Chavez down on strikes. Out number 2, Benoit. With 2 outs coming into this game with 2 on.
Lulled him to sleep with 2 split fingers and then a fastball right on the outer half. Tough enough to pinch hit, come off the bench cold. See those 3 pitches, even tougher.
And through the raindrops as well. Boy, it's really coming down. Top of the order, Derek Jeter. 0 for 3 today. Jeter has not had much success against Benoit lifetime. Just 5 for 27. It's a 185 batting average.
The wind has really picked up. Fly ball should be an adventure.
Especially anything hit in the air to left field. Two outs, and Jeter, a bouncer foul. John, there's your view from the blimp, from your pilot seat.
Yep.
That's what you call an isolated thunderstorm, I believe. That's about as isolated as you can get, right on top of Yankee Stadium.
Got to keep that bill of the cap dry. Stop that dripping the water in front of your eyes. There you go.
Advantage pitcher in this kind of weather. Jeter behind in the count, the 0-1. And he's late, fouls it away. 0-2 the count. 95-mile-an-hour heat from Benoit.
Benoit doesn't even try to throw that fastball in the corners. He just throws that good split finger down in the strike zone and then just airs it out down the middle.
Scherzer started this inning. 6+ shutout. He gave up a walk and a single to begin the 7th. Leland goes to Benoit, normally his 8th inning pitcher, to try to get him through this 7th inning. The Yankees have the big lumber coming up. Granderson is on deck, then Cano. 2 outs. No balls, 2 strikes on Jeter. One and 2. Well, you've heard of icing the kicker in the NFL. Benoit icing the hitter, just standing there. He and Valverde both with tactics to frustrate hitters, make them stand there and wait. Boy, it is really coming down right now. This could be an adventure if a ball is put in play either on the ground or in the air. The 1-2 and a strike called on the outside corner. Benoit runs off the mound as he punches out Jeter. The Yankees again strand a pair. Tigers still lead it 4-0. Benoit comes up big. Yankees, it started with a bang. Miguel Cabrera with a 2-run homer. The Tigers added 2 more in the 6th inning. We're going to have a little bit of a delay here, not an official delay. The tarp is still rolled up, but the field getting a little wet, and I would imagine this is best case scenario for the Detroit Tigers. They've emptied the stadium. They have a 4-0 lead. And Ron, getting back to your point in our broadcast open today, you talked about the middle of the Detroit Tigers batting order needing to come through, and they have in this game.
They have. They really needed to make a statement because, you know, they've slugged their way through the AL Central all season long, and they started today in that first inning. You were talking about Cabrera with that big hit, 2-run home run that really got them going. They didn't score for a few more innings after that, but at least it gave Scherzer, John, a little cushion where he could work, and he did a great job today.
Yeah, he did. Just wild enough, just threw enough pitches. Usually when you face the Yankees and you get to a lot of 3-2 counts, the results are not going to be good. Yeah. But he did make enough pitches when he had to, and then a great job by Benoit as he came in and Benoit. Did I say Benoit?
Benoit,
I got a little French
right
there.
You know, Scherzer, though, now 14 consecutive scoreless innings against the Yankees. Ended with those great 8 shutout innings in Detroit, and now is taking it in to the postseason. What a job he did.
Yeah, tip your hat to Jim Leland, the Tiger manager. He plays his card early, going with Benoit in the 7th inning. The highlights that just get you caught up. Sun was shining. Great day here. It was Miguel Cabrera, a 2-run homer in the 1st inning. And then the Tigers in the 6th inning get another hit and an RBI from Cabrera. The very next hitter, Victor Martinez, with an RBI single. So the Tigers 4 and 5 hitters producing all 4 of the runs. Cabrera with 3 runs batted in. The Yankees have had a few chances in this game. They've stranded 7 runners on base. On 3 different occasions they have left 2 men on base. And the rains began to fall, and I'm assuming here, from a pitching perspective though, guys, who has the advantage? Pitching? Road pitching in a spot like this?
Well, to be honest with you, it's whoever has the best footing. You know, if the pitcher's got the opportunity to make pitches and it's not too sloppy at either the mound or at home plate, you always feel like the pitcher has a slight advantage just because it's tough to see when that rain is blowing in different ways.
Blowing in different ways, and also this ballpark gets a little bigger when you have this kind of weather here, rain and cold at Yankee Stadium.
Well, the man who is drumming up a sizable dry cleaning bill this week, Tom Verducci, standing in the rain downstairs. What do you have, Tom?
Yeah, it's time for our daily weather report. And again, as it was Friday night, Major League Baseball was surprised at the severity of this rain. But the good news is they expect this downpour to last only about 15 or 20 minutes. It really popped up out of nowhere, but they don't expect it to last long.
It has been so strange, the 3 days that we have played baseball, starting Friday night. Remember Friday night, not much rain expected till later. There was really no expectation whatsoever of rain, and it poured all night, and it forced a suspension. And then yesterday it was supposed to rain a good part of the night, and it didn't rain at all throughout the the completion of that game. And I believe we have ourselves a window. back there. So it looks like we're going to be all right, and we are going to resume here shortly. There's a great look from the blimp up above.
I don't want to hear that word intermittent anymore, by the way. It doesn't work for me.
So here we go, and Delman Young will lead off. Just a reminder, on TBS, National League Division Series Game 2 in Milwaukee is underway. Ryan Braun has already homered for the Brewers. Starts a doubleheader of National League postseason baseball on TBS as we wind it through, and inning number 8 on TNT. Delman Young has been swinging early in the counts. A strikeout victim his last time up. He is 0 for 3. Corey Wade worked a scoreless 7th for the Yankees. As Young on the ground, a wet baseball. Cano, no problem. I'll give credit to the Yankee Stadium grounds crew. They were ready with the Diamond Dry, the kitty litter that soaks up the moisture, and they put it around the plate area and of course on the mound. It'll certainly soften things up, but I'm predicting the sun coming out momentarily. It's possible we'll have a rainbow here shortly. We have blue skies moving in as fans start to make their way back to their seats.
Well, this stadium is so big that they can go in underneath and keep dry, and TVs in the middle of the stadium. It's quite, if you've never been here, it's quite a display.
Opened in 2009. Beautiful stadium. And it looks empty right now, but fans are starting to push their way back as the rain has stopped. Miguel Cabrera, he's having a big day. 2 hits, 3 runs batted in. And that one is lifted into left center, a base hit over the outstretched glove of Jeter. 3rd hit of the day for Miguel Cabrera. And it gives us a chance to take a look at the language of the game, brought to you by Foster's. And we're talking about inherited runners, stranded leaders. Now, the Yankees tops on that list. We just saw Benoit strand a couple of inherited runners in the 7th inning.
You know what that means right there is that the starting pitchers spend a lot of money for the Yankees taking the relievers out to dinner, saving them some earned runs.
Like the offensive lineman for a running back. And certainly Max Scherzer leaving a couple of runners out there, courtesy of Benoit. Martinez fouls it away. Well, now that Jim Leland has engaged his 2 late inning relievers in the 7th inning, Benoit certainly headed back out for the 8th, and any sign of trouble, and you most certainly would see Jose Valverde, the Tigers closer.
Wade able to keep Cabrera close with that 1-foot lead he has over there at first base.
This field took a lot of rain in a short amount of time. It drains well, but you can see some of the shine from the lights. Well, you figure as a base runner you have to be aggressive here. Your footing is not great, but everything the outfielders are going to pick up going to be soaking wet. Ball and a strike on Victor Martinez. Pulls one foul. Martinez has been such a clutch hitter in the postseason. And delivered once again in the 6th. That RBI single, stretching it out to a 4-0 Tiger lead. Jim Leland has his ace, Justin Verlander, at the ready tomorrow night in Detroit. It'll be a rematch of the aces, Sabathia and Verlander, as Martinez goes to center. Granderson is there. 2 gone in the inning. Cabrera is still at first. And it'll be Alex Avila.
I know his offensive numbers speak for themselves, but the job he has done with this pitching staff, and he's got a balance of some young guys and been able to really hone them in and make some big pitches. They've been on the same page, it seems like, too, Ron. Not a lot of shaking of the head. And good game plan so far and executing it.
0 for so far in this series, though, so he could use himself a knock.
Got to give a lot of credit to Avila. His first postseason as well. He and Scherzer navigating through this game. Scherzer ends up with 6+ today, giving up just 2 hits to the Yankees.
You know how clutch that was. You know, Max is watching the game last night. The Yankees scored 9 runs. Cano looks like you can't get him out. That whole lineup and its depth look very daunting, and he comes out and throws 6 scoreless innings.
What he did well is everything he did, whether it was the wrong location, it was aggressive. Aggressive changeups, aggressive fastballs. That's what you have to do if you're going to have any success against the Yankees. You've got to be committed, have conviction, and be aggressive. Push him off the plate, ride the fastball up. He did all of those things, whether it was all on purpose or not. It worked out.
0-2 pitch. This is badly. Ball at 2 strikes on Avila. The Yankees will have Granderson, Cano, and Rodriguez coming up near the bottom of the 8th. A pair of 2-run innings for the Tigers. Costly error by Derek Jeter to start the 6th inning. Opened up the inning for Detroit, and they cashed in with 3 hits. Runner goes, and a half swing. The throw to second. Not in time. That is going to be a stolen base for Miguel Cabrera. Caught him napping a little bit. Well, you don't expect Cabrera to steal a base, but now he's in scoring position with 2 away.
Surprised nobody checked on the swing here, or potential swing.
It's the biggest setup of all time there by Miguel. Small lead.
You see him kick it in? He kicked it in right about halfway.
Had 2 steals, 2 stolen bases in the regular season. The sneak attack. That could be big, a base hit. And the Tigers would add 1 more to it. Corey Wade's 2nd inning of work. Had a scoreless 7th inning, gave up a hit. Cabrera at second, and the 3-2 and a foul tip in and out of the mid of Martin. Miguel Cabrera now has a postseason stolen base on his career register, the first of his career.
I think he's going to get a few more. That's just unleashed a whole new weapon.
Confidence soaring with Miguel Cabrera now. Question is, will he score on a base hit? Andrew Jones, the new left fielder for the Yankees, as Avila fouls it off his foot. Avila is just 24 years of age. He was behind the plate for Verlander's no-hitter against the Blue Jays. He was behind the plate for the near-perfect game from Armando Galarraga last year. Full count, 2 outs, way inside. And Avila draws the walk. So Wade lets him get away. 2 on now. And it's going to be Johnny Peralta. So again, Peralta in a spot to put some distance between the Tigers and the Yankees. He was up with a couple of men on base in the 6th inning. He struck out with runners at 2nd and 3rd in the 6th inning. Takes a strike from Wade here.
I don't think you ever feel comfortable as a manager or even a team when you're facing the Yankees if you don't have more than a grand slam lead.
That's right.
I've already seen how many grand slams they've hit this year, so one more run would put you in that comfort zone of grand slam, can't tie it up.
Leland going to Benoit to get the final 3 outs of the 7th after 2 men were on. And he'll have the heart of that Yankees order coming up. 2 balls and a strike on Peralta.
Martin's going to come out. Good count here for Peralta to add on for the Tigers. Runners in scoring position this series. Detroit's been 6 for 14. They make the most of their chances. Yankees, though, not so good. 2 for 18.
I think gap to gap here with a guy that changes speeds as much as he does. If you don't get into pull mode, you won't be suspect to that change of speed and hit a weak ground ball or pop it up. Stay up the middle.
Evens the count at 2-2. And a swing and a miss. Martin will slap the tag on him. A strikeout. Peralta is gone. And the Tigers strand 2. 4-0 Detroit. Bottom of the 8th coming up. Granderson, Cano. Series on TBS. Join the postseason debate at MLBFancave.com and follow the action on Twitter with the hashtag postseason. Legends are born in October. Well, some threatening skies up above, but the rain has moved on for the time being. Big crowd at Yankee Stadium, over 50,000. Number of them leaving or retreating to the concourse when the rains came. An ill-timed squall for the Yankees as the rain started to fall when Benoit was on the mound and the Yankees were threatening in the 7th inning. Now we go to the 8th, and now Benoit is back out there. Curtis Granderson will lead off, be followed by Cano, then A-Rod. Benoit gets all 3 outs of the 7th inning with a couple of strikeouts. Stranded 2 base runners. Jim Leland has not been afraid to use Benoit for longer than an inning. He's done it on 3 occasions in the regular season. 2 of them in August. He went 2 innings and an inning and 2/3 back in May. This is not totally out of territory for Joaquin Benoit. As Granderson rips one deep right field, Kelly looks up and there it goes. The Yankees are on the board. Curtis Granderson with a home run.
Benoit started his postseason career. Hitters were 0 for 14 until that home run there by Granderson.
Fastball right down the middle, one of the few ones. No change of speeds up until this point, just getting after it. And that's a man who has hit a few this year.
Granderson with his 2nd hit, his 1st home run, hit 41 homers during the regular season. And wipes out the shutout for the Yankees. Now Cano.
As crazy as it sounds, that's not a big deal. A home run's not a big deal. Something psychological about a walk, about runners on. You start thinking it's a bigger rally than it is. A solo home run, no big deal. Get right back on the mound and get after it.
5th career postseason home run for Granderson. His 2nd as a Yankee. Had a homer against the Rangers in the ALCS last year. His first 3 postseason home runs came as a Tiger.
How about 2 in a row? Does that mean anything?
Well, it gets the fans even to a different octave.
0-1 to Cano, and a swing and a miss. Took something off it. Well, the Yankees were shut out through 5 1/3. Max Scherzer goes 6+, just 2 hits today. An outstanding start at Yankee Stadium for Max Scherzer. And now the Tiger bullpen, 6 outs to the finish line as that one is in the dirt. Cano, a 1-2 count. Ball and 2 strikes on Cano. And a swing and a miss. Benoit strikes him out. His 3rd strikeout already, and the first out of the 8th inning.
Well, if you missed earlier, here's how the first hit was recorded, and he did not get a good break off the bat or a good route. He went the wrong way to try to go to this blooper, and he had to cover too much ground, and certainly was able to come up short and allowed the first hit to happen.
The first of 3 hits.
Kind of circled around that baseball, didn't he?
That's what got the Yankees started in the hit column. The home run by Granderson, their first run to start this 8th inning. Now 1 gone. Here is Rodriguez.
They keep pitching him the same way. You feel like, John, he's going to look inside, cheat inside, and try to pull one down the line. Has not gotten the bat to the ball, though.
It's been tied up twice. He grounded out in the 4th. He popped up to right field in the 6th inning. And that one gets in on his hands. It's going to be Santiago to make the play. 2 gone, and the Bluebirds coming out. Two outs for Benoit. And because of the suspension Friday night, losing the off day today, it's going to be a run of 4 consecutive games if it gets that far. Benoit trying to give the Tigers 2 innings, 6 huge outs to bridge the gap to Valverde in the 9th. Mark Teixeira is hitless. He's 0 for 3. Ayala. 4-1 Tigers with Brandon Inge leading off. You see the numbers during the regular season for Ayala. I saw Ayala yesterday in game 1. He went a 1/3 of an inning, gave up 2 hits, couldn't finish it as he drills Brandon Inge. So Inge, who was a defensive replacement in 2 plate appearances, a single and a hit by pitch. Well, last time in this scenario, Santiago dropped down a perfect bunt for a sacrifice. We'll see if that is the order here from Jim Leyland.
I tell you what, with A-Rod so far in, you could slap one by him. Just at least get him honest. Square around, maybe slug bunt, and try to get it, slap it down the line.
Third base coach for the Tigers, Gene Lamont. Alex Rodriguez crashing in hard from third base on Santiago. The rains came down in the 7th inning, the bottom of the 7th. It's the only time it rained during this game. The Yankees had a rally going, 2 on, nobody out, and couldn't push a run across in the rain. The only run, a Granderson home run to start the 8th. Santiago drops it down, a good one. Teixeira to first, and Back-to-back sacrifice bunts for the Tiger 9-hole hitter. Inge ends up in scoring position.
Santiago, he's textbook, isn't he? Made it look easy.
Textbook, and now they need contact out of Jackson.
That's that out in front. Makes the sheriff field the bunt. Scoring chance for the Tigers. Oh, wow.
Yeah, perfectly placed. And now another bunt attempt by Austin Jackson. More so for the hit than the sacrifice with one away.
That's an awful play. No reason to bunt. That's an individual play right there. You're up to drive the run in. Get an insurance run.
Jackson still looking for his first hit. He has scuffled in that leadoff spot. He reached on an error in the 6th. That was a key play in this game. A Jeter error to start the 6th inning. And the Tigers would cash in with 2 runs in that 6th on 3 hits. Cabrera and Martinez with the RBIs in the 6th inning.
You mentioned it before, Brian. Jim Leland would like Jackson to just be aggressive.
And he bounces one foul just past the bag at third.
Just like it takes a pitcher a while to hone in and learn the strike zone, it does for a hitter as well. When you're aggressive, and this is the thought of being aggressive, you got to know where the strike zone is from top to bottom. And if you can get a guy out the same way with sliders and curveballs and off speed down, you're going to have that success until the hitter makes you change the scouting report.
Ball and 2 strikes on Jackson. And a role of run producer in this spot. Jackson is a great talent. There's a striking resemblance to Mike Cameron, a young Mike Cameron, still in the league, finished up this year with the Florida Marlins. Jackson did make a terrific catch in the 1st inning today as he slaps that one foul.
Off Derek Jeter, the first hitter.
Very first hitter for the Yankees in the bottom of the 1st, an over-the-shoulder catch in center field when this crowd was revved up. The Tigers scored 2 runs in the top of the 1st, and for the most part they've kept this big crowd down. When the rains came in the 7th, a lot of fans did not come back to their seats. Full count to Jackson. Don Kelly is on deck for the Tigers. Tigers try to make it a repeat performance of 06. They lost game 1 of the ALDS in 06, came back won game 2, and then won the 2 games in Detroit in a season that sent them to the World Series that year. Full count to Jackson. Bouncing ball to Rodriguez. And he gets his man. 2 outs. Inge still at second base. A reminder, TBS October 18th. Prepare for nerd domination. Don't miss the Big Bang Theory. All new to TBS Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights starting October 18th.
Nerd domination, huh?
That's what it says. Funny show. Here's Don Kelly with 2 away. Kelly's second plate appearance. He was the final out in the 7th inning. He pinch ran for Ordonez in the 6th. The defensive replacement late in games when the Tigers have the lead. Ninth inning here at Yankee Stadium over on TBS. The Diamondbacks and the Milwaukee Brewers getting their game 2 underway with Hudson against Greinke. And then later tonight on TBS at 8:30, it's the Phillies and the Cardinals. Milwaukee up 4-1 now. In the bottom of the 3rd inning, Ryan Braun with a home run for Milwaukee. starting to settle into this postseason a little bit. It's always imperative. We talked about this when we came on the air today, but that game 2 in a best-of-5, such a swing game. Whoever is up, if you're up and you can go 2-0, especially for the Yankees to go 2-0 and have Sabathia coming back tomorrow. And for the Tigers with Verlander ready at home tomorrow, it would be a huge win for the Tigers to even this series before they head back home. They might not have to return to Yankee Stadium.
Well, we talked about the pendulum in the first game, and unfortunately what happened is those 2 big starters didn't get a chance to determine who was going to swing it one way or the other. But it's a heavyweight fight tomorrow, and if it is even, then you get a chance to do exactly what you were hoping to do in game 1.
Sabathia went just 2 innings on Friday. Looked like he had his A game going too, Ron. He had struck out 4 in those first 2 innings. He was so disappointed that the game was suspended. He actually discussed with Joe Girardi about coming back today and starting for the Yankees, but Girardi held him back, wants him to start with an extra day of rest in Detroit. And there's a base hit to center field. Brandon Inge around third. He'll score without a throw as the Tigers tack 1 more on. The replacement's getting it done. Don Kelly with an RBI single, and it is 5-1. The Tigers get their run back here in the 9th inning.
And again, a fastball, not a bad pitch. He just goes with it right up the middle, and that is a big 2-out run, as you heard the dugout and everybody yelling and congratulating as they come in and get that 4-run lead back.
How about that second hole today with Ordonez with 3 hits, Kelly with a hit and RBI.
Tigers doing big damage with 2 outs. 3 of their 5 runs coming with 2 away. A 2-run homer by Cabrera. Now Don Kelly's RBI single. Remember, it was the Yankees. 8 of their 9 runs yesterday came with 2 outs. So
maybe that's going to be the theme of this series. Ability to get that big hit with 2 outs.
Off the end of the bat to Jeter. And a second for the out. The inning is over. Last call for the New York Yankees. We're headed to the series at 1 game apiece. And their theatric closer in a non-save situation, but 3 big outs away from a victory. It's Jose Valverde.
Well, if you like Dancing with Stars, you're going to like what you're going to see here. Have the things go right for Detroit.
A colorful character, Jose Valverde. He can frustrate hitters as much with his act as he can with his stuff, and he has great stuff. Swisher on the first pitch, a high drive right field. Kelly is back, and it's gone. A home run. Nick Swisher says not so fast. A solo homer to start it for the Yankees in the 9th inning. It's 5-2 Detroit.
During the regular season, Valverde had not given up a home run in 97 at-bats. His first pitch in the postseason, gone by Swisher.
Swisher wasting no time against Valverde. And he has this crowd making some noise again, which is much of a part of this game as anything. The Tigers have taken him out of it. Postseason home run number 4 for Swisher. Now it's Posada. The Tigers this year, when they have the lead after 8 innings, 83-0 this season. Valverde had a string of 49 consecutive saves this season. 52 consecutive going back to last year.
Boy, they're having some good swings here, Valverde. Got the good fastball, the good split finger. Guy that comes right after you. And Motown has a history of their closers being perfect. 1984, Willie Hernandez was perfect in that season. Cy Young and MVP.
Might have another Tiger pitcher winning the Cy Young and MVP right there, Justin Verlander. Now in the regular season, you bring a closer in a non-save situation, it's a story, but not necessarily in the postseason. Valverde's ERA in non-save situations this year was near 6. And all bets are off in the playoffs. He pitched in the postseason in 07 with the Arizona Diamondbacks.
A little herky-jerky motion, hides the ball a little bit. It's got some velocity on his fastball, and of course a little wake-up call when you come in. Can't create a save, but now it's a 3-run game.
Yankee hitters know Valverde takes a lot of time between pitches. Doug Fister could get into a 2-2 count in between one of Valverde's pitches. All part of the act, and a swing and a miss. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Posada.
That's got a routine that he likes to follow.
Tom Brookins taking care of the outfield positioning.
A Nick Swisher home run to start the 9th inning. It was Granderson who homered to start the 8th. First and only Yankee runs of the ball game. 2-2 to Posada. Just off the plate.
Well, again, this is a situation where if something happens via a hit, so be it. You throw it right down the middle, or close to a strike as you can get. Just don't want to create any more tension for yourself by walking a hitter.
In the air, center field, slicing away from Jackson. Long way to go, and that ball is going to bounce off the wall. Posada on his way to third. Jackson fumbling with it in the outfield, and a triple for Jorge Posada.
Like I said, you got to make him put it in play. He did put it in play. He knew it was hit well by his reaction. But one thing you can't do as a closer is play the what-if game. You don't worry about the next hitter or that run. Your job is to close it out before they tie the game. And you see that great effort, almost came up with it. But right now, it's back to what he's normally used to, Ron. You just get outs. You trade runs for outs.
Little wet track there might have cost Jackson that catch.
Swisher homers, Posada triples. What a start to the 9th for the Yankees. First career triple. He's done a nice job so far. Girardi took a chance, played the hunch, went with Posada in the starting nod. The first 2 games he's delivered with 3 hits and 2 walks. And it is game on. The Yankees are down 3. The tying run still in the on-deck circle. Russell Martin. 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch. A swing and a miss.
Cano 5 hitters away.
And that's the one thing you can't do as a closer. Start thinking, what if this situation, or if I get to Cano? You just got to get outs. Never let the tying run get on base. That's simple. If you can help it.
Ball and 2 strikes on Russell Martin. Martin has some matchups against Valverde when those two are in the National League. It's 1 for 12 lifetime against Valverde. Martin, a Dodger. Valverde with the Diamondbacks and the Astros.
Valverde takes that ball out of his glove early, doesn't he? Almost shows it to the hitter.
One back with a heat. Runner at third, nobody out. Posada at third base after a triple. Misses with a fastball. 2-2 the count.
This is your decision pitch right here. 2-2. You want to throw your best pitch that you think you can strike out or get an out. Stay away from going 3-2. Make it happen right here.
Martin stays alive.
A good hitting by Russell right there. Just the volley. Perfect pitch by Valverde.
Andrew Jones is on deck. It'll be his first plate appearance. A lot of ways to score the run. The Tigers will concede the run for an out in the infield. 2-2. And a bouncing ball foul. Back in 07, Valverde's only postseason of his career. He did notch a save in the ALDS, pitching for the Diamondbacks against the Cubs. And his last memory of a postseason save opportunity, a blown save, was against the Colorado Rockies. 2-2, and that one just missed. Martin taking a chance. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Russell Martin.
Good call by Cooper. That ball missed outside. Tough pitch to take. Good call.
Tying run is on deck. And he walked him. Martin is aboard. 3 consecutive base runners for the Yankees, and they will in fact bring the tying run to the plate. We mentioned the blown save. This was in the NLCS back in 07. Valverde for the Diamondbacks against the Rockies started the inning by giving up a single to Ryan Spilborghs, eventually walked Brad Hawpe and Jamie Carroll to load the bases. Valverde struggled as he walked Taveras for the go-ahead run. The Rockies won the game 3-1. Colorado would move into the World Series that year with an NLCS win over the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Andrew Jones 3 for 7 with a home run. Do not make a mistake inside. You've got to pepper the outside part of the strike zone. Make Andrew want to pull it himself. He's a pull hitter, but if you make a mistake inside, there's a good chance he can lift it.
Came in for defense. Now he's got a chance to be a hero at the plate. And Valverde cannot find that outside corner. He is behind again. Largest 9-inning deficit for the Yankees in the postseason. 2 runs. They did it in 09 against the Twins. Swept the Twins that year in 2009. Tigers look for the double play ball as Jones into right field. That's well hit. Don Kelly is over, makes the catch. Tagging and scoring is Posada. And the Yankees are within a pair, but a great catch on a wet track in right field. Don Kelly runs one down. A sac fly and an RBI for Jones.
An out can reset your brain a little bit. You still know the tying run is at the plate, but you are a ground ball double play from getting out of it.
See Jimmy Leland right there telling his third baseman Brandon Inge, for 1 strike at least, be careful, play even with the bag, take away the bunt from Jeter.
Now what you said earlier, now you start paying attention when Cano is up.
Pretty big bat due up next as well. And barring a double play, Granderson will get his chance. With a chance to either tie or give the Yankees a win in the bottom of the 9th inning. Jeter swing and a miss. 95-mile-an-hour heat from Valverde. Easy cheese too from Valverde. Yesterday in the 6th inning, Girardi sent Gardner in front of Jeter. He worked it into a run and hit to extend the inning. And that one misses. Ball and a strike on Derek Jeter. Jeter was up with 2 on in the 5th inning and grounded out to end it. He was up with 2 on in the 7th inning and struck out looking. He's stranded 4 today.
Talk about a funky follow through. He really recoils on that leg and spins almost, giving everything he has to throw his fastball. It's amazing he can throw it in a consistent manner for where he's trying to go.
Interesting, the pitch count climbing for Valverde with 3 straight games.
Last pitched on Wednesday. The Tigers needed him to finish a game off. They were still with hopes of home field advantage. Pitch number 21 of the inning for Valverde. And Jeter lays off. Count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Boy, nothing inside against Jeter from Valverde. If you watch Jeter, he is just creeping closer and closer to that outside corner.
Has not really been able to be real good with his fastball, which sets up that off-speed pitch, that split finger or slider. 2-2. See if we see one right here.
Action pitch coming up for Valverde. You know he doesn't want to go full. And a foul tip. Jeter just hangs in there.
And there was that tight slider, almost like a cutter. Something to break up the hitter's timing and the fastballs that he's pumping in there.
Well, Martin fouled off 2 tough pitches before he was able to work a walk.
Tigers had a 5-1 lead when this inning began. Home run by Swisher, triple by Posada, Martin a walk, Andrew Jones a sac fly. Tying run at the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Derek Jeter. And a swing and a miss. Down he goes. Valverde out number 2 with a big strikeout.
When you look at the way he was approaching Derek Jeter, obviously with caution, professional hitter, he goes away. Good first pitch right there. Tries to get the corner. Pitch tracks might have had it.
5 home runs, all from the 7th inning on, including today.
Yankees look to their MVP candidate, representing the tying run, and Martin takes off, almost thrown away. Martin will take second base. Defensive indifference is the official call. Leland had put Cabrera behind the runner. It does take away the force play at second base.
This Yankee lineup, it's so difficult to finish them off. You've got to make pitches. And again, this is not the time to start thinking about what if, oh, if I don't do this. It's you're ahead by 2, but sometimes these situations get you crazy going, look at the guy on deck. If I don't get this guy, and you groove one in there, you just got to make pitches. Know that look, he's been perfect all year. Even though this is not a save opportunity, you got 1 more out to get.
Cano hoping for a chance to hit. Granderson with 2 away. He homered in the 8th off Benoit for the first Yankee run. Let's take you back to the 8th inning. Tigers working on a shutout. Benoit his 2nd inning. The first batter he faced, Granderson. And he ripped one into the seats in right field. second postseason home run as a Yankee. Light rain starting to fall again. The 2-0 pitch. Granderson in the air with the raindrops coming down. Avila is there and he slips on the on-deck circle. The wet on-deck circle buys the Yankees another swing perhaps. Oh my goodness, you talk about a break. That was an out. That was a season and a series that is even at one apiece.
That's a tough play for the catcher. Once he gets close to that on-deck circle, the third baseman Inge has to call him off and make that play. Inge was steps away from this play. Watch it work its way back. He slips, and the ball falls in between the two fielders.
Ironic, he slips on the Yankee logo, that rubberized mat for the on-deck circle.
The ghost.
Boy, you got that right. 2 balls and a strike. Granderson a huge break. And he takes a strike. Valverde right at the top of the zone with the rain coming down.
You watch this pitch again. Good depth at the top of the strike zone, just a bit outside. But that has been the side of the plate that has gained an inch or two if there is one.
And it's pouring again on a Yankee rally. 2-2. Ooh, didn't miss by much.
Well, this one a little further outside, runs it outside. Good 4 or 5 inches.
Yankees had a rally in the 7th. It rained. A rally here in the 9th. It's raining. A lot of pitches for Valverde. Down 2. Granderson, the tying run, the payoff. And he lost him. Granderson draws the walk. And here comes Cano. Who else in a spot like this for the Yankees?
Well, at this point right here, you got to play no doubles in the outfield. Now it gets a little bit tricky for the pitcher, who's got a split finger grip. If he wants to go to an off-speed pitch, you got to make sure you got a good grip on the baseball. But more importantly, you've got to get ahead of him in this at bat.
Trying to keep his right hand under his armpit to keep it dry is Valverde. Boy, you'd find this one under the fairy tale section in the library, wouldn't you? Wow.
The last guy the Tigers wanted to see.
Depends. It might be a horror for some people.
Next to Stephen King, maybe.
So Valverde trying to keep his hand dry. Robinson Cano with a game on the line. A long ball wins it for the Yankees. 2 outs. Strike from Valverde. Fastball. Remember, Cano with 6 RBIs in game 1, and all 6 of those RBIs came with 2 outs. Valverde's given up 2 hits and 2 walks in this inning.
Getting that bill of the cap again, trying to keep it dry. No raindrops in front of the eyes.
Oh, 2 on Cano. Back to last night. Robinson Cano with a grand slam homer, capped off a 6th in the spotlight.
I tell you, for the infield, they've been standing a long time. They've got to be on their toes and be ready for a ball either way in the direction. It's taken a long time to get through this inning, but as a defender, you've got to be ready to react right away.
Got great speed at first base. The tying run, Granderson.
But the longer the rain falls, obviously, the more the mound starts getting slick.
Any ball put in play could be an adventure. The infield wet. The outfield is wet. Granderson is the tying run at first. See the shine on the dirt. Gotta watch your footing as a base runner. The 0-2 pitch. Cano, a bouncing ball right to Santiago. Ball game. The Detroit Tigers survive, and they even the series at 1 game apiece. It wasn't pretty for Jose Valverde, but he gets the job done, and the Tigers even it up. They steal a game on the road with their ace Justin Verlander ready to go in game 3.
Well, it's a game that they had to have. The middle of their lineup was outstanding. Miguel Cabrera, that big 2-run home run in that first inning, gave enough cushion for Max Scherzer, who had 6 brilliant shutout innings.
Whew, is all I can say. There's some action there in the 9th inning. The weather, everything that you could have in these first 3 days of 2 games. Certainly making for an exciting game tomorrow in Detroit with the 2 aces on the mound.
Well, the Yankees strand 9 base runners. Valverde leaves 2 big ones out there, retires Cano, and the Tigers win it 5-3. Game 2 headed back home for a matchup of aces tomorrow. Sabathia and Justin Verlander from Comerica Park in Detroit. Wow, what a ball game. What a finish here. The Yankees not giving up. And a couple of late home runs. Granderson and Swisher. Posada with a triple. Comes right down to the last hitter. And will the Yankees have a chance to return to Yankee Stadium in this postseason? All right, let's send it down to Tom Verducci in that Tiger dugout. Tom.
Yeah, I'm here with Miguel Cabrera. Big night for you. 3 hits, 3 RBIs, and a stolen base.
Oh yeah, that stolen base. Don't pay attention to me, so I take us right here. You know, with 2 outs, we need another run right there. So it was a good game for everybody. You know, so it's just pitched great game. So we gotta give credit to him to hold the game right here and give it to our chance to win.
Now, Miguel, you know how much this team relies on you. After losing game 1, you got your team on the board in the first inning with a big home run. Tell us about that.
You know, I say yes. You know, we need to run support. We need to score early in the game to give a little break to our starting pitchers. So we need to still play aggressive ball tomorrow. I think we will be landing tomorrow. So we got a good chance to win tomorrow.
And how about the job that Max Scherzer, your starting pitcher, did, taking a no-hitter into the 6th inning?
No, he played an excellent game, man. Like I say, you got to give a lot of credit to him because he hold the game right here. He give you all the chance to win the game. You know, he deserves this win.
Now, by taking this game 2 at Yankee Stadium, you now have seized home field advantage. 3 games to go maximum, with Justin Verlander now getting the ball in game 3. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, we feel good. You know, we're looking for win 1 game over here, trying win the other one home. But you know, we still play 9 innings over here. We still play hard, and you know that's a great thing. You know, you never gotta give up with this thing. You see, in the 9 innings, he gotta go riding. So we gotta play good baseball with this guy, man.
Miguel, thank you very much.
Right, man. Thank you.
Back to you.
All right, Tom, thanks. And thanks to Miguel Cabrera. And the big bats coming up big. It was Cano yesterday, and it was Cabrera today. Miguel Cabrera with 3 runs batted in, had 3 hits, and the 2-run homer that got it started. And the Tigers send Yankee fans home upset after they pick up a big win in game 2. Well, right now on TBS, game 2 between the Diamondbacks and the Brewers is in progress, and it's a good one. All tied at 4. They're in the top of the 5th inning from Miller Park. Now our final score today, the Tigers win it 5-3 over the Yankees. They even this series at 1 game apiece, and we're back at it tomorrow. Verlander against Sabathia in game 3. For Ron Darling, John Smoltz, Tom Verducci, and the rest of our crew, I'm Brian Anderson saying goodbye from New York. TBS is your
hitting the home runs today, and then Jose Posada ends up scoring the 3rd run of the game. But at the end of the day, it's a W. It's 1-1, guys, and maybe we are watching history repeat itself from 2006.
I don't know what you guys are worried about. Valverde was going to get the save in that situation. I mean, Valverde has done this all season long. I mean, there are touches of Todd Jones every now and then, but he's Todd Jones with a lot of good stuff, and there's no doubt about it. Yeah, but it is shades of 06. The Tigers needed really to get 1 victory in New York, and they did just that. And now, as we mentioned, they come home, and now they have to feel good about themselves because, again, as we mentioned, It doesn't matter how many you lose by, 9-1, 9-2, 9-3. It's just one loss. They come back and tie it up, and now they've got the home crowd.
I don't know what you're talking about. I sweat through my undershirt, okay? I don't know if I'm going to make it through the post-game show. I got to remind you, though, that coming up after the hockey game, Mario, Rod, and I will be back for complete post-game coverage following Game 2. Highlights, analysis, John Keating working the clubhouse as well. We'll take you to the press conferences here from Jim Leland and Max Scherzer and all the Tigers heroes from this afternoon. We're going to get you back to the Joe Louis.
Back a bunch of runs. Today we proved that we can compete. So tomorrow is going to be a different story. We're going home. We're going to play in our home ballpark. Is a little bit more fair. So we see what's going to happen tomorrow.
Are you off tomorrow?
I don't think anybody's off here now, but I think I'll be okay.
Joaquin, thanks.
And we are not done yet. More from the Tigers clubhouse on the way. Max Scherzer great this afternoon. We'll hear from his battery mate, Alex Avila. And we'll turn our attention to Monday night's Game 3 when we continue on Tigers. Back to New York to hear a little bit more from Jim Leland's post-game press conference from earlier this evening.
How reminiscent for you is this of 06 with the rain out, you guys coming back and taking Game 2 before you're going home. You have 3 games in a row, back-to-back. So you had the same records as you did in 02, I mean 06?
Well, you know, it feels good to get a win. I don't worry about the other, excuse me, like the rain and stuff like that. I think we've done a good job of handling that, and I think you have to have a mindset to do that. If you're going to get all concerned about the rain and the families getting home and when are we leaving and who are we staying, are we, you know, what would happen if after 7 innings this game's rained out? If you get caught up in all that stuff, you probably don't have your focus on what you should have it on. So I think our club has done a really terrific job of dealing with everything that's come our way, particularly here. You know, this is a, you know, unbelievable atmosphere, as you know, with, you know, unbelievable history. It's not easy to do what we did, and I think the guys zeroed in pretty good. I'm awful proud of them. Well, it was a little bit different situation, but, you know, 06 is 06, and 2011 is 2011. I mean, this is a, you know, the lineup's so deep, as it was then. I mean, they just send one right after another up there. And with that short porch and a lot of lefties, it's pretty scary at times, to be honest with you. But we did okay. If you make pitches, you got a chance.
Sorry, George.
For those of us who don't know Cabrera very well, what's he like in the dugout in the clubhouse? He seems to be pretty chatty around first base.
Well, he's got a lot of energy, and I think what comes out in Cabrera, if you watch him, is how much he loves to play the game. He's like a big kid or a little kid, however you want to look at it. He just loves to play the game. He's the most instinctive player I have. He's smart. When I mess up, he knows it. Not all of them do, but he does. I mean, you know, he's got a pretty good feel for what's going on.
Example of that?
Do you have an example of that?
Well, I mean, he knows when he's supposed to be on the line, when he's not. He knows if they drag a bunt, you know, if I want him to go to second with the ball instead of trying to flip it back to the pitcher. He's smart, you know. He's got terrific instincts, and he's got a great face.
Last question. There.
Just out of curiosity, given how Cano's been hitting, had you entertained the thought at all of walking him to pitch to A-Rod in the 9th?
Could you repeat that?
Given how well Cano's been hitting, had you entertained the thought of walking him to pitch to A-Rod in the 9th?
That's a great question. It is. That's a great question. You know what? I thought about it, but that other guy's, you know, been known for the dramatics, and I figured, you know, it's wet, it's slippery, one gets away, one runs in, if something like that would happen, a ground ball, a ball slips, I just couldn't do it. You know, you hit a ball in the infield, you get him over there, and somebody throw one away, the game's tied. You know, it was, but it did cross my mind. It's a great question.
Thanks, Jim.
And now we focus on the rematch from the starters from Game 1 tomorrow night at Comerica Park. Justin Verlander going against CC Sabathia. First pitch slated for 8:37 tomorrow night. By the way, just announced Game 4 will also start at 8:37. But unlike Game 1, we expect that both of these guys will hang around past 8:40. As much as the rainouts seem to be a disaster for the Tigers in Game 1, with Verlander on the mound tomorrow night in front of a sold-out crowd at Comerica Park with a chance to take a 2-1 series lead, the Tigers might not have been able to ask for more.
I would agree. You know, I would think that right now the Tigers really played a nice game today. Their offense came alive. Max Scherzer pitched a pretty good ball game. Aside from the stress fest we had in the 9th inning, it was a pretty clean ball game. So I think the Tigers feel good about themselves coming home. They've got their horse on the mound tomorrow night, who's almost unbeatable at home. He's unbeatable almost everywhere, but they've got to feel really good about themselves. I know CC Sabathia is a really, really good pitcher and will give the Tigers some trouble tomorrow night, but you got to love what the atmosphere is going to be like at the ballpark tomorrow night.
Justin Verlander's first pitch tomorrow night might be 100 miles an hour. He's going to be amped up. The crowd's going to be amped up from the time he walks out of the dugout to go down to start his pitch routine before he goes to the bullpen. I mean, people are going to be rocking. They might have some towels rolling in Comerica Park. It's a great situation for Verlander to be in. We all know what he does. He has the dominant stuff, the mid-90s fastball, but he really has the secondary pitches, unlike power pitchers. He's got the really good curveball. He's got a tremendous changeup. He added a slider a couple of years ago at the recommendation of Zach Greinke, and now he has mastered that particular pitch. Justin Verlander will be ready to pitch tomorrow night at Comerica Park, and I don't think Tigers fans couldn't have asked for a better scenario, but it's not going to be easy. CC Sabathia is the best left-hander in the game, so runs may be at a premium tomorrow night.
Rod, you talk about how amped up Verlander could be tomorrow night. How important will it be for him to manage that, especially early on?
I think he's going to be okay because I think he got all of his jitters out of the way in the very first inning of the first game that he pitched at Yankee Stadium when it looked like he was a little nervous out there. And we really haven't seen JV like that, but it's the big stage. It's the playoff. It's the Yankees, and it's Yankee Stadium. He'll be much more under control tomorrow night at Comerica Park. Even though he'll be amped up, he'll know how to channel it.
Well, Comerica Park is one of only 2 parks where the Yankees have a losing record. The other is Angel Stadium. So, Mario, how key will those Tigers fans be tomorrow night and in the next 2 nights for them?
Well, I think they'll be big. I don't think there's any doubt about that. You know, we've talked about the fact that the Tigers are a really good team in terms of drawing fans, and some of the best fans in all of baseball. I mean, they drew better than 2.6 million this year. They average well over 30,000 per game. But, you know, it's different in the postseason. I think back to 2006 and the energy that was at Comerica Park in those games that we played at home. So I expect it to be the same. I agree with Rod. I think Verlander's going to come out a little bit amped up, but that's okay. I think that the Tigers right now are sitting pretty, playing in their home ballpark, and I think this will be fun the next couple of days.
We have seen some magical things happen at Comerica Park this season. Perhaps we ain't seen nothing yet. Tomorrow night, however, we'll be back here again for another playoff edition of Tigers Live, breaking into programming as soon as Game 3 is over. Mario will make his way down to the park tomorrow, while Rod and I will man things back here in the Coliseum studio. Justin Verlander and CC Sabathia, as good as advertised. For myself, Rod Allen, and Mario Pendle, that's just about going to do it for this playoff edition of Tigers Live. The Tigers even up the series at 1 game apiece, winning it 5-3 in Game 2.